Oh, I didn't. Oh, what am I doing? I didn't do anything. The iPad's not set up.
Well, this could be set up, just plugged in.
I didn't turn on the speaker. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Okay, well, your beard's my coffee.
So sorry.
That's nasty.
My beard's dry. I mean, okay.
All right.
Are you okay doing the soundboard?
Yes. Let me see if I can break your code. I know what it'll be. What's the code?
For that?
All right,
Don't say anything. Yeah, I could. Okay.
I tried fart and poop. If it wasn't those,
It's
then...
Danielle's code, so if that were me, you were right. It would be fart or poop without a doubt. Okay. Beautiful. You ready?
Oh, I am ready.
You haven't done this in a while. All right. 3, 2, 1. Go Nintendo Podcast, webisode 982. The Dudunsparce Podcast. Dudunsparce. What am I doing? You're here. Holy crap. MomBrain, can you read us the Pokemon, please?
I sure can.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I know.
It's been a while.
3 weeks since you've been on the podcast?
I think
At least 3.
at
I
least, yeah.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Dudunsparce. This Pokemon uses its hard tail.
Oh, it is Dudun. It's not Dun. I said Dun.
I
Richard
can
Dun.
read.
Dudun.
Do
Michael's
dun dun
Mhm.
do dun dun. Well, anyway, it uses its hard tail to make its nest by boring holes into bedrock deep underground. The nest can reach lengths of over 6 miles.
Wow.
Holy cow. They're 11 feet tall, 86 pounds. So, like, real long and thin.
Long weirdo.
Male and female. And the category, oh no, is land snake.
Ignore it.
I'm going to have a bad one. Abilities include Run Away, which enables a secure getaway from wild Pokemon, and Serene Grace,
Run away.
which raises the likelihood of additional effects occurring when the Pokemon uses its moves. This, I'm sad to tell you, is the end of the Pokemon section. Also, I need to inform you that while I was reading this, you got a text from your sister.
It's gonna be about the adventures of Pete and Pete is my guess. Let's find out together. And it is, yes, because I sent her the Mr. Frosty or Mr. Tasty shirt from Pete and Pete. Thanks, MomBrain.
Why
Nice
not?
to have you here.
Thank you. It's really nice to be here.
I'm glad to see you. How you feeling? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Various reasons I've been away.
Well, you told me I could tell people that your grandfather passed away.
Yes, my pop passed. If anyone is so inclined, it's sad, but he was an incredible man.
Oh,
He
I know
was
what you're gonna say.
The best grandfather anyone could ever ask for. Yeah, the audio is a little crunchy, according to some people.
Crunchy. I'm.
Crackling, crunchy.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't
Nothing's
know.
changed. We don't.
Nintendo says audio completely gone for me.
Audio completely gone. It's recording. You keep doing your thing. I'm gonna look into
Kurt
it.
Dog says audio is fine now. And Nintendo says working fine now.
Okay.
Okay.
It's gotta be a short one of the wires or something.
So Pop was a phenomenal man, and if anyone is so inclined and would like to honor his memory, you can do so by eating a very large bowl of ice cream, because that would make him incredibly happy. It was, in fact, my very first solid people food that wasn't baby food.
Are we calling ice cream solid food?
Well, people food that wasn't baby food, because my parents went away and left me in the care of my grandparents, and my grandfather fed me ice cream, which I just learned from my mother I did not call ice cream as a small child, he was referred to as "oh boys" because he would say like "oh boy," and so I would call it "oh boys."
I've just found this out now, and I've known you for so long, and now I can say that. That could be a thing now.
Yeah.
Speaking of that,
Delicious.
I've known you for
Exactly.
so long. MomBrain, it was yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday was MomBrain and I's 26th anniversary. 26 years. Can you believe it?
26 years.
Man.
I mean, I guess that's what? So it's really like 28 years I've known you.
Probably.
And same goes for you then, obviously. Yeah. And by you, I mean Deux. Hello, Deux. How are you? Look at that. Retsu's eating ice cream right now.
Retsuza, you should know that Haagen-Dazs vanilla was Pop's absolute most favorite. So yes.
Fancy spoon too. Sorry, Deux. How are you doing? Ooh, good to see you too.
Thank you.
Eating that ice cream with that special fancy spoon. I really like it. That top note, that sweetness. Cover all 9,000 taste buds. Nicky Hill is not here because he is on assignment in another state recording a TV program that will be on your television in the near future. So Nicky Hill, we speak your name. So yeah, have some ice cream, relax. Thanks for joining us on this weekend. I hope you're having a great weekend. I hope you got big plans. I hope exciting things ahead or whatever. You're just relaxing and playing games and taking it easy. There he is. Let me say hello to, of course, the one and only Josh Grobot. Josh, how are you doing, my friend?
That was a really great story.
There's the guy, Retsuza. Yes, Josh, we tell lots of great stories. What have you been up to? How's life? What's going on?
Minecraft, bro.
Minecraft. Got back into Minecraft, huh? My mom was talking about Minecraft just last night.
True.
She watched the movie yet?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. She wanted to see it. I know that for sure, but I don't know if she's watched the movie yet.
Wouldn't you like to know?
I could have asked her and I didn't. She's got Minecraft slides that she wears. So she is a legit Minecraft fan. She plays it all the time. She wears the clothing. She speaks the language. So I'm sure at some point she'll watch the movie.
Some things should remain a mystery.
That's right, Roth. It is on Peacock now. If you have Peacock, you can watch yourself the Minecraft movie as many times as you want. Also, George is here. George, have you seen the Minecraft movie?
Yes, I did. But George, no? Yes, I did.
What'd you think of it?
It was a very lime movie. Pretty lime.
I've heard people really like it or they think it's okay. I haven't heard anybody say it's horrendous, but I don't think I'm going to take any time to watch it. It's not on my list of things to do.
I don't recommend it. It's actually more lemon than lime.
And that would be worse, right? Because the lemons are worse than limes.
I think so.
That is stupid.
Whoa.
I mean, you know how Josh and George are with each other. It's no surprise there. Chicken jockey. How was that part of the movie? Was it great?
That part was great. I didn't know what was happening, but I loved it, and I can see why you'd want to take a live chicken into a theater.
I could see why that part of the movie got so popular.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be part of that nonsense, but to be honest, it did look like fun. If I were like a teenager, I'd probably be like, this is awesome and hilarious. But
there's a TikTok I don't think I showed you where I don't know for sure, so don't jump on me, MomBrain, but I think it's seniors walking through the halls of their middle school with like their cap and gown on to say like goodbye to the school, and all like the young kids are there lining the hallways to like see the seniors graduating and all that. And the one senior is there, he's recording the line that he's walking down, and you can hear him laughing a little bit. And out of nowhere, he goes, chicken jockey. And the kids in the hallway are like, yeah, like go nuts screaming. And then all the seniors start laughing and they're like, yeah. So I was like, that's what it's about. Exactly. If we were in school, we would have been doing that stupid stuff. So, but we're not, because that was 25 years ago. All right. We did that. I want to say today is the anniversary of two things, and I found out thanks to Facebook. One good, one bad. Well, I guess both could be bad. The bad one first. This is the anniversary of Billy Mays passing away. He left us. It was like somewhere in between 14 and 17 years ago. Billy Mays left this earth to go pitch garbage up in heaven. So I hope he's selling. Man, I can't even remember. What the hell did he? What did he like? What was his big things?
It was
Orange glow?
No, it wasn't a one word like powder. Did he do OxyClean?
Yes, he did do OxyClean before Sully took over. You're right, OxyClean.
A kaboom?
Kaboom sounds right. Yes, whatever he was doing, he would scream about it. So anything that sounds like a word like kaboom makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But Billy Mays, rest in peace. There's an old episode of the podcast somewhere in our history where Billy Mays does the intro to the podcast, so we have to recognize this anniversary on the show. It's only right. And then also, Facebook let me know that on this day, however many years ago, MomBrain and I went into New York City to play the Wii U before it came out. We were at a press event in New York City playing the Wii U, and we played Nintendo Land, and we were playing that the game where you're the little cart. Like, it's a big screen, remember? And you have to move the cart through the maze, and the gamepad had like a zoomed in view of it. Remember, it's a little cart with like the wheels on it and the springs. Oh my god, it
Maybe.
was so much fun. That game was like ridiculously fun. That's the only one I wanted to play while we were there. It was a great time. So 2 big anniversaries today that are related to Go Nintendo podcast history. So there's that. What else do I have to talk about before any of that? Nothing. All right, let's go into what I talked about on Patreon. Oh no, my God! I haven't said anything about. I haven't said hello to the chat. Hello, Ret Souza and Kurt Dog and Blood Ocean and RLM and Roth and Drake and Nintendo and William and did I say Kurt Dog and Ice Dilber and Nico Darunia and Tall Show and Malik Halo and SD and the screen refreshed on me. So whoever else I didn't see, thanks so much for joining us. I hope you're having a great weekend. And Barnaby, of course, yes. Batman
Barnaby!
Batman Begins is 20 years old this month. Oh my God.
Wow.
I hardly remember anything about that movie, but I saw it in the theater. I remember that. I remember that for sure. I think we all agree that that is the finest Batman movie that they've ever done, and it will never be topped. All right, let's do Patreon. Let's do Patreon. MomBrain. Dude, did you know you could join the Go Nintendo Patreon?
For $1.
For $1. And some of you haven't. Thank you for your support. What did I talk? There's a new post on Patreon every single day. What did I talk about this week? Let me tell you. I asked you lovely people about what games on Switch 1 you are playing on Switch 2, because as you know, Switch 2 is backwards compatible with Switch 1, and that means the vast majority of games on Switch 1 can be played on Switch 2, and a lot of them play much better, run much better. Some of them have gotten official upgrades and enhancements that improve the experience. Others have not, but they still run better in general. So I looked to you people to see what you are dipping back into on the Switch to play on your Switch 2. And you guys ran the gamut of stuff from obvious answers like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild to, Super Mario Odyssey and Dragon Quest. And I'm trying to remember some others, but you guys were using your Switch 2 arrival as a good excuse to jump into your Switch library and revisit things that maybe you fell off of years ago or things that you never got around to playing, which is pretty cool. So we talked about that. I talked about my post-Deltarune slump because last week I talked a lot about Deltarune, and this week I will be talking more about it later because I have finished Chapter 4, so it's over for me.
It's the game. It's fun.
Reggie, the game was very fun, and that's an understatement. I finished it, and much like 1000 Times Resist, I have fallen into a slump of, I don't want to play anything because it's just not going to be anywhere near as good. And I'm fighting against that as much as I possibly can, but I'm still feeling it in my heart and my soul. And it's just the way it is. So again, I'll get more into that later because that's what I've played. So I'll share that. But Yeah, it's a bummer. You know, it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing to have a game where you're like, wow, that really impacted me and that really meant something. And what a awesome experience. But then trying to wiggle your way back into a space where you're playing other games that maybe are great, but don't hit that hard. It's always been a troublesome spot for me. It's happened with a few games throughout my life. Like I said, 1,000 Times Resist. It happened with The Last of Us, both of them, part one and part two, obviously. Earthbound, it happened with me when I first played through Earthbound. There's other games in there. Fragile Dreams, when I played that, it happened with that one. So it's you know, those are all games near and dear to my heart and mean a ton. But when you wrap those games up, you're like, oh, now what do? I don't want to watch anything. I don't want to play anything. Just nothing's going to measure up.
I was like that with Urban Champion, and I haven't found anything in 30 years.
There's been nothing quite like Urban Champion. That's very true. God, I can't. Why can't I remember the name of it? Doki Doki Literature Club. That was another one for me. And I was thinking, it happened with Undertale alongside Deltarune. And I don't own Undertale. I have like the Steam version, but I want to own a physical version, and it's on Switch. I have to pick that up. I was just thinking that this week because I would love to get a physical Deltarune when it's available, but that's not going to happen for years and years. So, but Undertale came out on Switch a long time ago. I got to get it. So I talked about that. I talked about Ironheart because Ironheart started this week. Shared my opinions on that. I said I don't find the show amazing, but I am enjoying it. And I like the character Riri Williams, and I like the Ironheart series of comics. I didn't find them to be mind-blowing or anything like that, but I just really liked Riri as a character, and I like the idea of that character, and that's what the show has given me so far. So again, nothing mind-blowing, but I'm very much enjoying it. So I talked about that. I talked about the brand new announcement of did you watch that trailer for the new Bubble Bobble?
I didn't.
There's a new Bubble Bobble on the way, and it's called Bubble Bobble Sugar Dungeons. And they are taking the tried and true Bubble Bobble formula and messing with it a little bit, which I like. They are injecting a little bit of roguelike stuff into it. So, you know, roguelike like Hades or whatever. Those games are you go in, you start your run, the rooms and the enemies aren't the same. You go as deep into the experience as you can, and then maybe you die, and then it starts over, and you level up your abilities. Well, with Bubble Bobble Sugar Dungeons, that's what you're getting. You go into the dungeon, and it looks like traditional Bubble Bobble. You know, you go into each room, you put enemies in bubbles, you pop them, you move on. But rooms and enemies are randomized, and as you go through, you can level up your abilities, like fire bubbles and things like that. So every time you go into the dungeon, it's a new experience, and you level yourself up in order to make it to the end of the dungeon. I was like, that's not like a mind-blowing idea or anything, but it's a fun little wrinkle to add into the Bubble Bobble experience. And I have always loved Bubble Bobble since the original on the NES. I got my Bubble Bobble mouse pad right here, and I saw that trailer. I was like, yeah, that's a fun idea. I've played every Bubble Bobble there has ever been. As far as mainline Bubble Bobble goes, none of them are mind-blowing, but they're just fun, and I really enjoy them. So I'm definitely going to play this one. But I was like, oh, it's pretty interesting that they're trying to do something a little bit new and trying to cash in or exploit the popularity of roguelikes now and maybe woo some people that potentially would not play the game otherwise. I highly doubt that. I think old gamers are going to play Bubble Bobble that know what the franchise is, but I can't imagine it's going to bring in too many new people. But I'd like to be wrong, so who knows? We'll find out. You were laughing, Deux?
I was just laughing at the alliteration. I've played every Bubble Bobble there's ever been. I just say, like, if you didn't know what Bubble Bobble was, you'd sound like a nut. But this is the right podcast to be discussing this. Most important question. Sorry to cut you off, but I need to know: are Bub and or Bob in it?
I've only seen Bub.
Oh,
I would imagine there will be 2-player and Bob will be there, but I can only confirm Bub at this time.
Maybe the Spiders and Flies will have something for you, actually.
I can only hope, and you know, for once, I hope it's true. But so yeah, I wrote about that. It was a nice surprise to see that's coming to Switch this year. And then oh no, I have 2 more. Last night I found out something interesting. I was hanging out with my brother-in-law. That is what Dan is, right?
That's correct.
I was hanging out with him, and he plays a lot of video games, and we were talking about games, not surprisingly. But I found out that he had a very, very similar experience with RPGs to what I did as I was a kid. He didn't remember what one, but he played a Final Fantasy game when he was a little kid, or at least attempted to. And he didn't understand it, and it didn't work out for him, and that had him swear off of RPGs altogether. And I was like, oh my God, Dan, that's exactly what happened to me. And I was like, this is the perfect opportunity for me to tell you, don't do that, because it's one of my, at least as far as gaming goes, it's one of my biggest regrets. I'm like, I missed decades of RPGs I could have been playing and enjoying, because now RPGs are one of my favorite genres. And I'm like,
I love how you're talking to him like he's some 18-year-old. I mean, the guy's what? He's pushing 40 now, right? I mean,
30, mid-30s, right?
He's younger than your sister.
he's still got time. He's still got time to get these games.
Oh, yeah, he's got more time than when I first went in. So I was like, yeah, take what happened to me and take my advice and give it a go. And I was telling him about how Earthbound was the one that did it for me. That was the one I was like, I never played Earthbound. I should really play it. And I played it, and I was nervous, obviously, but I played it. I was like, oh my God, that was a lot of fun. I think I might actually like RPGs. And then I started my path through various RPGs, and I was like, I've wasted so much time. So I was like, Dan, don't do what I did. Now's your chance to get in and try it. So he's either going to try Earthbound or Undertale. And I said, he knows nothing about Undertale. And I was like, you are the perfect kind of player to go into Undertale, since I was like, I'm amazed that you play video games and you don't know anything at all about Undertale. I was like, keep that blindness and go into that. And obviously, Undertale was only created because of Earthbound. They're tied to each other forever. Toby Fox was deeply inspired by Earthbound in making Undertale. So he's going to pick one or the other and give him a go, and we'll see how it works out for him. But I wrote about that because I was like, I didn't know that somebody so close to me went through the exact same situation. Final Fantasy Legend 2 on the Game Boy was the one that did it for me when I played as a kid, because my cousin was stuck and didn't know anything about the game at all. And I played it, and I was like, this jerk, how can he not know how to play a video game? And I was like, where's the jump on heads button? Where's the shoot button? I don't understand.
I think you shouldn't count your RPG aversion totally beaten until you go back to that game and play that one.
Final Fantasy Legend 2?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very traditional RPG.
Don't talk yourself out of it. You got to do it.
No, I want to do it. I'm saying, like, I'm sure I could handle it. Like, it's not like any back then. It was like,
right.
It was just so outside of my. It wasn't anywhere near my wheelhouse. I played games that were action games. You know, like shoot, run, jump. Maybe some random sports games in there and puzzle games. Nothing RPG. Final Fantasy Legend 2. Let's see. Because my RPG history is lacking. The Game Boy version was later ported to the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, man.
And was released worldwide by Square Enix in 2020 with later ports on Android, iOS, and Windows. Okay. Final.
So you could actually play it.
I'm looking into it right now. Legend 2 Switch. The collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend. It's $20. Very doable. Is it on sale? No, $20. Okay, what do we got here? The first Game Boy RPG to sell over 1 million units, and the memorable first installment of the series, the Final Fantasy Legend. I tell the game popularity. Yes, and then Final Fantasy Legend. So it's got Final Fantasy Legend 1, 2, and 3 in this collection. Wow.
But you have to play 2.
I gotta go right into 2.
Because that was the one, right? That's funny.
Vividly remember it.
Who are you, me? With the sequels?
That's what I was thinking. I didn't say it. Yeah, I will, like, that memory is forever like, it's etched into my memory perfectly. I remember, like, where exactly in my cousin's living room I was standing. Like, I remember, like, what the lamp looked like. I remember what
blew
the carpet.
Your mind.
Well, because I was a
you thought you knew it all.
Piece of trash. Yeah, I was like 8 years older or whatever, but I was like, this idiot doesn't know how to play video games. And I can remember playing, quote unquote, and like realizing very quickly I had no idea what was happening, and like a bead of sweat coming down my forehead. And I remember looking at my cousin after like 15 minutes and being like, I don't know what's going on. Like I had no clue, and it scared the crap out of me so bad that I was like, never RPG. Brian.
Wow.
Brian is the reason I started playing video games. So like my cousin, I'll start. Let me start from the beginning. It won't be a long story, I promise. I used to play video games. Like my parents had an Atari 7800, but you know, I wasn't like really playing it. They had like Pac-Man and Pitfall, which I did play, but I was so young at the time. I was like 5 or whatever. I wasn't like, I'm going to go sit down and play the Atari. It was just whenever it was around and they were around, I would play something. And my much older cousin had one as well, so I would randomly play there too. We would go to the arcade and I would play a ton of skee ball with my dad. And also Spy Hunter. I used to sit on his lap because I couldn't reach the steering wheel, and I would play Spy Hunter, and I loved that game. But still, I was very young, probably like 6 at the time. And then when I was, I want to say 7, I went to my cousin's house, who was the same age as me, and he was like, I got to show you something. And he had an NES. I had never heard of the NES. I didn't know what Nintendo was. I knew nothing about it at all. And he had Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. And he started up Mario Brothers, and that's another like seminal moment in my life where I remember like watching what was happening on TV and being like, this is impossible. Like I'm watching something that's impossible right now. How is this even happening? I couldn't, like, it blew my mind in a million different ways. And then he showed me Duck Hunt, and then like he showed me Duck Hunt for like 5 minutes, and it was like, now watch this, and ran up to the TV and put the gun on the TV and was just shooting the ducks directly and whatever. But from that moment on, I was like, I need an NES. I remember hounding my parents forever, being like, I need this. And my mom, I remember my mom being like, you have that other video game. And I had one of those. I don't know how to describe it to young people.
Is it like a Tiger handheld?
No.
Oh.
It was one of those things that was like, it was like a see-through piece of plastic that was on a wheel that had a light shining through it, and it looked like a fake screen, and it was like a tiny steering wheel, and it has like a piece of plastic that comes up from the bottom that had a car on it.
Oh yeah.
And you would move the steering wheel to like drive around stuff. And it was just like, a short loop that took like 5 seconds, and if you like drove off the road or into a car, it'd make like a noise when you did it. But nothing would ever change. You were playing the same loop over and over and over again. But so it's not really a video game, but I love Spy Hunter, and that was Spy Hunter-esque. So I would sit in my bedroom and play that like forever. I'd sit on the floor and play that. But even back then I knew like,
that's so funny.
It's the same 5 seconds over and over and over again.
Even the memes haven't changed. It's like, Mom, I want an NES. You've got an NES at home, and it's that thing.
Exactly. And then eventually, I'm not saying my parents were like, no, you can't have it or anything. They were, that was expensive back then, and they didn't have a lot of money, but they did. There you go. Yes, like that. Exactly like that in the Discord. Thank you, William. They eventually got me an NES, and as I know I've said before, it was an NES that came with Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, but it also came into Legend of Zelda, and it also came with Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. So I didn't know what Zelda was
at all. That was in the bundle?
Yeah, it was like a Toys R Us bundle that came with that.
Oh my God.
But it wasn't like a special box or anything. It was a regular NES box, but they were also throwing in Zelda 2.
Very cool.
So I didn't ask for that. I didn't know what it was at all. Like, I had no clue. Played Mario and all that. Then I played Zelda 2 with my mom. I was like, I guess I'll try this game. And I was like, this is also an amazing game. And we played that together. So Zelda 2 was my first Zelda.
That was your way in, getting your mom.
Went back. Yeah, it's at least partially true. Yeah. Went back and played the original Zelda with my mom. But my cousin is directly responsible for, I'm going to say, my entire life. Because like I play video games and my job's related to Nintendo and like so much of that. And oddly enough, he is the same cousin that introduced me to wrestling. When I was a little kid, I knew Hulk Hogan, and I watched like a pay-per-view. Personally,
now you are a real hero.
I watched a pay-per-view with, every little kid liked Hulk Hogan back then at the time, but I wasn't like every week, let's watch wrestling. It was just like, you saw Hogan doing something randomly, and you're like, yeah. And then we watched, my parents got a pay-per-view. I don't remember why, but it must have been heavily promoted at the time. And that pay-per-view ended with Hulk Hogan being taken away in an ambulance. And I was like, Dad, he's dead. Hulk Hogan's dead. And I'll never forget being so mad at my dad because my dad was like, trust me, he's fine. Because obviously it's not real. But at the time, he didn't want to tell me that and whatever. And I was like, how is my dad so cruel? This man could be dead and he's acting like nothing's wrong. So like, and then after that, you know, not because of that, but I was a little kid. And wrestling wasn't on TV weekly like it is now. It was random events that were broadcast. So that was that. You know, wrestling was in and out of my life probably within the same year. Then my cousin asked me to sleep over one year, and this was mid-90s. And when I slept over, it was a Monday, so it had to be the summer. And he was like, oh, we got to watch wrestling at whatever. And I was like, okay, I didn't know anything about it. And I remember, and this was like the Attitude Era. So like I remember laying on the couch and like, you know, like Sable comes out wearing like next to nothing, and like DX is doing Suck It, and like the crowd is screaming Suck It, and
everything.
Like Gold Dust comes out in this weird outfit, and like people are jumping off top ropes through tables, and I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And that was literally my start of watching then. And I watched all through high school and then stopped just because I was literally the only one still watching, and I had no one to talk to about it. And the internet wasn't really, it was a thing, but it wasn't really a thing. And then it took a long time to get back into it. And I randomly started with Lube again. And since I started with Lube, that's over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I have been watching weekly and back in it like it's a regular thing, obviously. Hello, Eli. So yeah, that cousin responsible for Nintendo and wrestling. Two like core tenets in my life.
Yeah.
Not anime though. That was all me. I don't know how I found my way to anime on my own, but that was all me, baby. So I got one thing on my own. I could talk so much more about all that stuff. Oh my God. I made a segue and I didn't even realize it. I have one more thing to talk about on Patreon, and it is anime related. I wrote about anime comes out. There's new anime every season. So spring, summer, winter, fall starts new anime. And I put together my list of the anime I'll be watching this season, with the first one starting today. I'll give you I wrote the list on Patreon, but I'll give you the list here if you're nosy. I'll be watching, as far as returning anime goes, Dandadan season 2 starts this week on July 3rd.
Happy birthday to me.
Sakamoto Days, its second half starts July 14th. And I want one that I love Dandadan. Don't get me wrong, I really do. But one that's very near and dear to my heart, Kaiju number 8 comes back for season 2 on July 19th. Then new ones. So brand new this season. Lord of Mysteries starts today. Call of the Night, Call of Night is getting its second season, but it's been a very long time since the first season. I was shocked it's getting a new season. Gachia Kuda is coming out, and that's going to be I think that's going to be the big anime this season. I think that's going to be the one that really makes a huge splash. It looks really cool. It's about it's very related to class and stuff going on in the world right now. Basically, this guy, I don't know exactly what happens, but he's deemed not right for the upper echelon of society, and he gets thrown into basically it's like Tears of the Kingdom's depths. He gets thrown down into a hole and lands at the bottom with all the trash, and there's a whole world of trash people down there that are fighting and scrapping to survive, and he is determined to claw his way out of the trash depths back up to the upper crust and take them all out. So come on, I love that idea. So that check out the trailer, because that looks I was gonna say wild. I know I say wild a lot. That looks insane. You should. It looks really cool.
Gotcha Coochie. We'll all be looking for it.
Gachia Kuta.
Oh, Gotcha Kuta.
There's The Summer That Hikaru Died, which I actually showed you a trailer for. It was the two kids sitting by the bus stop, and something freaky's going on with one of them. Check out that trailer. That's on Netflix. That's July 6th. July 8th is Turkey, the only anime trailer I set out to show my father, because it is bowling related. I have never seen a bowling anime. It's a group of girls. I would imagine they're in high school. Perfect. maybe they're in college, but it harkens back to MomBrain's past. They are in a bowling league for school, and some of them take it very seriously, and other are just doing it to get credit. And it's about them forming like a league together and like becoming better bowlers. And I was like, that seems kind of fun. There's one called Solo Camping for Two. That's like a slice of life anime, and I really like slice of life stuff, so I'm interested in that. Then there's one called Bullet. I don't even know how to describe it. You'll just have to look up a trailer. So a stacked season. That's
But I've seen everything.
starting today, and the last one I'll be watching is on July 19th. But just to be clear, that scratches the surface of what's available this summer. That is just the ones that I've picked that I definitely want to, at the very least, give a shot. I'm sure I'm going to end up adding more to it because there's so many. Crunchyroll, Amazon, High Dive, Hulu. Those are the main ones for anime, and there's plenty to watch. So that's what I'll be watching, and I'm sure I'll be writing about some of them. So there you go. That's what I talked about on Patreon this week. That's that. All right, let's do news. Let's go into news. Not too much news this week. Finally. Do I apologize again in advance? No Pokemon news this week. I'm not doing this on purpose. I swear I'm
What's
not doing
wrong
it on
with
purpose. No top story worthy Pokemon news. There was obviously Pokemon news, but nothing top story worthy.
That's again, I'm surprised. 2 weeks in a row. My theory is proving to be wrong.
Well, since you were bringing it up, I was like, let me actually keep track of what's going on here. And it's funny that there's been two in a row, but the Pokemon Presents happens in July, and that will definitely be a top story. So there's one coming. Don't worry.
Good.
We got an update on sales of two major Nintendo franchises this week, both of them tied to Masahiro Sakurai. We found MomBrain. I'll give one to you, and I'll give one to Do. MomBrain, guess how many millions of units the Kirby franchise has sold in its entirety. This is including mainline and spin-off. How many millions of Kirby games?
63 million.
63 million. I mean, we could do both if you wanted to get. Would you care to guess on this? It's more fun when more people guess.
Man, 50 million.
The correct answer is 50 million.
No way.
Wow.
50 plus million, but the number is 50 million. So you are Bob Barker would be reaching into his, or Drew would be reaching into his pocket to give you the, what did I give you? 500 now? 500 bucks?
Drew was
250
reaching in his pocket.
Depends
Could
on the
be
pocket.
anything.
Depends on the
500
pocket.
and a little something extra.
Yes, 50 million units of Kirby games have sold since the franchise launch. MomBrain, what system did the Kirby franchise launch on?
Famicom.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Okay, Do?
Game Boy.
Final answer?
Sure.
Do is on
No
fire.
way.
Game Boy is the first system to have a Kirby game. Yes, it started with Kirby's Dream Land on the Game Boy. And I will never forget that feeling because back then, you know, you had Mario, Zelda, Metroid. There's other ones in there, I'm sure, but those were the ones. And I remember like seeing the commercials and reading in magazines about Kirby, and they were like, a new game from Nintendo. I was like, what? A new game from a whole new character? And because these feelings that have only grown in me and have only gotten way worse. Back then, I was like, oh, I hope it does well, and I hope it's popular, because if it's not, then Nintendo's gonna fail. Like all those feelings as a little kid I had.
You didn't want back then a remake of Zelda 2?
You know, back then we didn't even think of remakes. They were just makes at the time, no remakes. Yeah, I remember when like Super Mario All Stars came out, which was a remake, but it had Super Mario Brothers 2, The Lost Levels, which we had never played. So I was like, that's why I wanted the game. That's why I got the game, for that, not for the other things. And I remember them back then making me mad because I was like, I have those. We played those. I don't need any of those. And
That's funny.
Stayed with me to this day. But yes, Kirby on the Game Boy started it all. 50 plus million units later, the franchise is doing literally better than ever because Kirby and the Forgotten Realm is the best-selling franchise entry in Kirby of all time. And then moving on, Sakurai's other baby, Smash Brothers. MomBrain, how many units of Smash Brothers? Mainline installments, and that's all there is for Smash Brothers. So there's Smash Brothers on the 64, Smash Brothers on the GameCube, Smash Brothers on the Wii, Smash Brothers on the Wii U and the 3DS, and Smash Brothers on the Switch. Those 5, yeah, sure, entries combined have sold how much?
60 million.
60 million, the lady says. Do?
That's got to be more for me. I think it's going to be more like 80 million.
80 million. This time, MomBrain wins. You were correct. You just overshot. 72 million units
Oh.
of Smash Brothers. And again, best-selling entry is Wii U 3D, or I'm sorry, Ultimate on the Switch. Ultimate on the Switch is literally the best-selling fighting game of all time. No other fighting game has sold more than Smash Brothers Ultimate. And yes,
Not even Urban Champion?
even Urban Champion. You would think that'd be right there, giving it a run for its money, but it has not achieved the same heights yet. You never know.
There's still time.
Remember when I don't remember what they were called now, but Nintendo was doing those like 3D enhanced games for the 3DS, and Urban Champion was one of them. And I was like, why are they picking this one? I was like, I get it, like it's a 2D plane and you don't really go anywhere, so it makes the 3D look really good. But I was like, really, like that's the one we're gonna go with? But the fan are out there, so
Yeah, there really isn't much to that game, I suppose.
there really isn't. Like it's and like there's nothing wrong with games where there's not a lot to it, as long as within the confines of what there is, there's a lot to do. Like there's not a lot to joust. Board doesn't really change in Joust, but you get different enemy combinations and stuff like that, and it makes it more interesting. Urban Champion, what do you get? Like a guy in a different colored shirt? Like you walk to the next,
I don't even
you
know
walk
if
to
he
the
is.
next screen, right? But it's just like the same building, and
Yeah.
maybe another lady dropping a flower pot.
It's not all that compelling because you're just pressing a button, and it's kind of like, who pressed the button first within the punch range? You know,
Yeah.
like that's kind of all it really mounts up to. Where, like you said, something as simple. There's one button in Joust, basically, but there's a lot of fun to be had over and over.
Joust I will 100% stand by as a legitimately fun game. Like it's that great kind of arcade game where you can just keep going and there's nuance to it, and like you never feel you know what you're doing, but you never feel safe. Like the floatiness of the ostrich, is you never feel fully in control, and it makes it exciting. I legitimately think Joust is a great game. It's a lot of fun.
But would you say that Kung Fu's a good game?
I don't think Kung Fu holds a candle to Joust. But I think Kung Fu is leagues beyond.
But in the
Champion.
conversation of like comparing it to Urban Champion, it's
Kung
like
Fu.
it's like they're about the same time. And Kung Fu, like if you're gonna play a fighting game, like Kung Fu felt responsive at like it feels really good to play.
Kung
Whereas
Fu, hands down, every time I'm
like
taking
Urban
it over.
Champion, you feel like you're wading through like quicksand or something.
Urban Champion feels like a very, very early arcade game. I would take Kung Fu 10 times out of 10 over Urban Champion. But also on top of that, if it's not painfully obvious now, I'm really not a fan of Urban Champion. I played it like way back in the day and I didn't get it and didn't really like it. And that's always stayed with me. And I've tried it multiple times since. And it's always like by the end of 10 minutes, you're like, I've seen and done everything there is to do here. And that's pretty much it. I see you in the chat, everybody. Tony says Game Boy Kirby was in black and white. It's true, or puke green if you want to count what the Game Boy looked like for us. Drake says, I think the first Kirby game I played was Kirby Pinball. I borrowed it from a friend. Yeah, I'll very vividly remember those Kirby memories and was so excited that it did well and it continued on. And I was happy when the second installment came, and look at it now. It's reached so far and it's so popular. Z-Dex. Was there something? Oh, yes, there was something I was supposed to say. I got to get this out there right after this. Z-Dex says, all he makes because unfortunately getting something else from him is too much of a pushover. He's saying he wants other things from Sakurai. We're getting Kirby Air Riders, which is a sequel, but I believe Sakurai wanted to do that. So I don't know. It would be nice to see something from a Sakurai that is completely wholly original. Yes, I agree. It would be nice to see. And that's, I would imagine, nothing of his own doing. It's, Nintendo putting in requests and he's like, yeah, let's do whatever. So I would love to see a wholly original game from him. But remember, Kirby was a wholly original game and Smash Brothers was a wholly original game. Just now they have many installments to them. So there you go. The thing I forgot to say that I have to say. Crazy Colonel is not doing artwork this week. He is celebrating his birthday. He is out and about and will not be around. So,
Oh my gosh. Does
oh my
Josh?
gosh.
Oh my
No. He said no birthdays from Josh. He said it's okay.
That's none of your business.
So if you are feeling up to doing a doodle or an elaborate drawing or a sketch or whatever, please send it our way and I will feature it in some way. I will make one of them the thumbnail on YouTube and I will make sure I do a collection of all the other art in the post on GoNintendo. So please, no matter how confident of your skills you are or not, we will happily showcase whatever you send our way. So if you have any inclination or interest or any modicum of anything you consider to be talent, send it our way and I will happily put it on display.
Thanks. Very cool.
Very cool.
Tony De La Mancha wants Kid Icarus to come back.
Well, that is another one that Sakurai did on the 3DS, and I forever wish that game got a port to another system because I want another
Shout
way
out to my bros.
to play that
Yeah, Josh.
because I liked how it controlled on the 3DS, but it was cumbersome, and I would prefer like a more traditional way to play that. With mouse controls, that would actually be really cool. That could work well on Switch too. So just for the sake of a new input method, I would like to see that game revived. But yes, I would like a new Kid Icarus game from Sakurai. That'd be great. We're not done talking about Sakurai because Sakurai made some headlines this week.
Hey, what happened?
Sakurai's usually the golden child and nobody says anything bad about him, but Sakurai talked about something that's a very hot button issue and it wooed
What did he say about Iran?
much anger. Yeah, big. He's like, I'm not talking about video games this time. I'm going to talk politics and geopolitical topics. He's talking about game development and how big it is and how expensive it is and how long it takes and how many people you need and how that all of that worries him because he's like, things are getting crazy. And we have a machine translation of what he says, so meaning like Google Translate. But, a lot of people are like, his words are being misconstrued. And that is not the case here. It's a case of people hearing what he said and just being riled up about it. I've double and triple checked translations here. The essence of what he said is here. And I'll talk more about that after I read the statement. So, quote, to be honest, it's dark to see what's coming. I think that if you try to make a large-scale game like the ones we have now, it's too time-consuming and unsustainable. I feel that we can't continue like this. But at the moment, the only effective solution I can think of is generative AI. I feel that we have reached a stage where we must change our schemes, such as by using generative AI to improve work efficiency. I think that this will be an era in which only companies that can adopt to this change will survive. Sakurai was not saying that he is going to use AI. He was saying, here's the problems the industry is facing right now. Like I said, projects are very expensive. Projects are huge. They take so much manpower. They're unwieldy. They're getting out of control. And Sakurai is saying it's unsustainable. And he is saying the only thing he could think of to alleviate some of that is to use generative AI in some way. And again, he's not saying it's right. He's not saying he's doing it. He's saying it's the only thing he can think of because the answer can't just be, we'll hire another 500 people because that raises budgets and that will cut down on development time. Sure, but that's not going to stop the problem. It may be a stopgap for a while, but eventually you're going to get to the point where the 500 people that were brought on aren't enough to tackle what's next. And you can't just keep adding on and adding on and adding on. Whoa. So he's saying, as far as what he can feasibly think of right now, generative AI is the only thing that would be able to cut down on some of this workflow, not raise prices, not require a whole new team to come in. And I understand what he's saying. And here's the truth of it all. Games have been using generative AI for a long time now, long before AI became like a dirty word or a dirty topic or such a hot button issue. Like Xenoblade and those games use generative AI to some degree for terrain. The artists will go and they'll put in their artwork for terrain, and developers will go in and put in their points of data. So things are made and then they're fed into a generative AI that creates the terrain. So like all the artwork is original and all the designs are original, but then you feed that data into AI and AI is like, okay, there should be a mountain here and there should be a valley here and there should be a bump here. And then the developers go in and they're like, okay, this doesn't really fit the landscape here. We'll take this out. And this doesn't really work over here, so we're going to adjust this. But then you have, parts of the landmass that were generated by AI, and it's like, okay, that's fine. That works. Like Grand Theft Auto or Tears of the Kingdom or any of those games. You don't need a developer or an artist or whatever to go in there and meticulously handle every little bit of that stuff because it just doesn't make sense and it's not needed. Again, you do need the artist to go in and actually make the art. And you do need the artist to go in and oversee that stuff and look at what is generated and be like, this needs to be cleaned up. This needs to be fixed. This needs a little bit more. You need the developers to go in and look at everything and make sure everything works. You need the more tech-minded developers to be like, okay, this geometry is okay for this thing. All that. So it's not like this gets done and it's like, hey, I did it. We're good to go. It still needs to be checked by everybody and given multiple passes over. But there is some of the, for lack of a better term, grunt work that can be handled by generative AI for pieces and parts that don't need to be labored over. So it's not a fact of AI taking art and making art based off of everybody else's art. It's AI being like, there should be a hill here. And they're like, okay, that's fine. So as far as AI goes, when it comes to generative AI of that kind, I'm okay with that. And I've been okay with that. Now, we had another story this week about how the new Everybody's Golf game, what's that called? Everybody's Golf Hot Shots. They put an AI warning on the game letting people know, not a warning, but disclaimer, letting people know that the trees were made using AI. Now, that I have a problem with because that is AI making artwork for the trees. So that I'm not cool with. Personally, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right.
So I'm
not okay with it.
So they were completely made by it, not like
Yes.
made by an artist and then duplicated.
Yes.
Like trained AI. But like,
well, that's what AI is.
I mean, but I guess
what I'm saying is their indicator makes it look like no artists were involved with the creation of the trees at the development team. It was just an AI has generated trees that they put into
and
the
that's
game.
Sort of where I start to like, once you start giving a little bit, where's the line, right? Because for me, I could make the argument that like, okay, it's a tree in a golf game. Like if it's not a game about trees and the trees just need to be there so that you can enjoy the golf game, then who cares? Like how they were. The
person who didn't get that job.
Well, right.
That's who cares.
Exactly. Like I, as a person care, but like I could make the argument that like, where's the line then?
The line is wherever you put it. Yeah, it's like I don't think that there could be like a hard and fast line for everybody.
Yeah.
It's the line has to be where the company puts it. The line has to be where you as a consumer puts it. And I think that's what people have to come to realize. Like AI is not going to go away. So as a consumer or, someone not just purchasing, but like consuming, for lack of a better term, art and entertainment, you have to decide what you're okay with and what you're not okay. Yeah. So if you're not okay with trees being generated by AI, then you do not buy the game. Or if you're not okay with AI artwork being used in a film, then you don't support the film. It's up to you.
And, will it be mandated that you have to disclose any AI that you're using and where? Because like
Will it be officially mandated? I don't know that would ever happen. I guess it could.
Because, like, I know, like, the school that I'm on the board for and the school that I work at, we both have AI policies to the best of our ability at this kind of point in history. And one of the things that we had to make, like, really clear was that, like, you know, parents can opt their kids out of participating in, like, stuff that's, like, overtly AI. Like, if you don't want your kid to be whatever using Chat GPT or whatever,
Yeah.
like, fine. But we had to make it really clear to families that, like, you can't go on a phone or the internet without interacting with AI. Like, so we can't just say, like, your kid won't interact with AI at all at school, because that's, like, not humanly possible anymore. So, you know, it's just going to be interesting to see where we end up with, like, disclosing the use of AI and how it's managed.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the technology is moving much quicker than the language is, and how we're going to define and report and identify this stuff. So we'll see what happens as things go on. Nintendo said, I really wonder if this is a mistranslation issue. I've seen a lot of conflicting reports. Yeah, I've seen all the reports too. I went through and read it again. I also had people who actually read Japanese, and my understanding is that the heart of the message as translated by machines is what Sakurai is saying. He's not giving it like a positive or negative. He's not saying he's going to employ it. It was just a fact of he's saying this is all I can think of right now to solve this issue or potentially alleviate some of this issue. So yeah, I know it's a hot button issue and people get very upset about it.
C-button issue.
I know it's a C-button issue. People get very upset about it. And I'm not saying you can't or you shouldn't. Just whenever this stuff comes up, I feel like people are like, and they just go nuts and don't have any nuanced conversation about it. And this is coming from someone who more often doesn't support AI than does. Like, I don't like AI created art, and I don't like that artwork has been trained, or artists, or I don't like that AI has been trained on artists without their consent. And then, like, the same companies that make these AI software or programs get mad and try and sue when their AI is used to train another AI, and you're like, you're a piece of crap. Like, you did that to train your AI in the first place. Why is it okay for you and somebody else can't do that with your AI? So whatever. Again, you draw the line where it's okay for you, and whatever you decide is okay for you. You don't have to. There's no right or wrong here outside of what you want. This is a personal decision. So you decide what you're okay consuming and interacting with as far as AI goes, because again, it's here to stay.
And right. And we're, like, kind of early in the journey. So also give yourself the opportunity to, like, change your mind or, like, see things from a different point of view as time goes on. Like, I think, you know, we've yet to see all the possibilities. And so I think it's important to, I don't want to say remain open-minded, because that's like, oh, everybody just take AI and be open. Like, but just remember that we don't yet know all there is to know about it. So, like, I think we should be forming our ideas.
Speaking
and
like AI is like got a gun to your head.
Well, no,
Keep an open mind about this AI.
I just mean I'll probably become, like, less liberal in regards to AI, I think, as time goes on, as I start to see, like, all of the impact it has.
Well, let me tell you the direct impact. Google is going to kill the vast majority of websites, because people used to go to Google to search for information, and then it would take them to a website. Now you go to Google and you get a Google AI response, and soon they're changing it to that will be the default. You will just talk to Google and Google will tell you an answer, and to get a link, you'll have to go to another page. So obviously for me, that's not good, because I'm a different website from Google. So it's just crazy. Hi, SD. Good to see you. So yeah, we'll see what happens from here, but that's Sakurai's 2 thoughts. Konagiga says, well, he's not wrong. And while I can't speak for other gamers, I don't need AAA games with huge open world and ultra realistic graphics that take millions of dollars and 7 years to make. There you go. Like I said, it's up to you to decide what you are okay with. Michaels, did you buy Death Stranding 2? Yes.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. No. Death Stranding 2 is out because the internet is the
$1.
internet. People, as soon as it came out, all the websites were like,
Is Mads Mikkelsen in it?
I don't know.
Spoiler.
Yeah. As soon as the game came out, like 12:01, all the websites had their auto-generated, like, here's how to beat this boss. Here's how to get this thing. Here's how to fight this guy. Here's how to see this secret. Here's how to surprise that this part happens. And I'm like,
Here's how to spoil a great
Yeah.
experience for yourself.
and of course, right away, they were like, Death Stranding 2 has a very interesting name in its credits for people who played Death Stranding 2. So, just the reviewers when all this stuff first came out. But, 24 hours later, people have already beaten the game and they said all this stuff too. Nintendo is mentioned in the credits for Death Stranding 2.
Ho!
Why is that? Let me explain. So people saw the credits roll on Death Stranding 2, and in the credits is a mention for Nintendo Pictures. You might remember that Nintendo Pictures
My body
was
is
a
ready.
thing that was announced back in July of 2022. And that was Nintendo's acquisition of a Japanese computer-generated animation studio called Dynamo Pictures. Nintendo bought that company. They have 100% stake in that company. They renamed it to Nintendo Pictures. And the goal with that was to, quote, focus on development of visual content utilizing Nintendo IP, end quote. So, we've seen Nintendo Pictures work on, like, anything that Nintendo does that has, like, cutscenes or anything like that. Nintendo Pictures has been involved. But Nintendo Pictures was mentioned in Death Stranding 2's credits. So what's going on there? Well, it turns out with the original Death Stranding, Dynamo Pictures was involved because they did some of the motion capture work for Hideo Kojima on the original Death Stranding. So it appears either they worked again with Kojima on Death Stranding 2, which obviously the game has been in development for quite some time. So in 2022, before Nintendo made the acquisition, Dynamo may have been involved with the game at that point, actively developing it with Kojima, or some of the data that was used in the first Death Stranding could still be used in Death Stranding 2, whatever the case may be. Dynamo was involved with Death Stranding, and they were still involved with Death Stranding 2, so that's why it led to the mention of Nintendo Pictures in the credits. It's just funny because you hardly ever see a situation where Nintendo is mentioned in the credits of a game where that game isn't available on Nintendo platforms. So, will it ever be at some point? Stranger things have happened. There's rumors out there right now.
Strander things have happened.
Oh my God. There's a rumor out there right now that the original Death Stranding director's cut is going to come to the Switch 2.
Outstanding.
It's a rumor floating around from a source that some people believe, and apparently we'll find out about it in July. I don't know. But
Fantastic.
maybe we'll have reason to revisit this, and I look forward to a time when we can talk about Death Stranding 2 in relation to Nintendo platforms, because that would be great. Because, like, look at Final Fantasy VII. We had no reason to talk about that game for decades, and then it finally came to the Switch, and now I can talk about it, and now I can post things related to Final Fantasy VII, and now, obviously the remake's coming to Switch 2. So it took a long time for Nintendo fans to get that original Final Fantasy VII, but it happened and it opened the floodgates. So
Wow. I am impressed.
could happen with Death Stranding. Well, maybe we'll find out next month.
Did you make the photo for this story, by the way,
Yes.
with him kissing Baby Mario?
Mhm.
It's freaking great.
So there was a lot going on at the time, and I wanted to do a better job where I put, like, his mouth in front of the hat where it should be, at least some part of it. But I was like, I don't have time for that. I got too much going on. So I did it the best I could, and I was like, that's gonna have to work. And I was like, good enough for me. So thank you for saying that.
You probably should have put Luigi because Baby Lou, but that's just me.
You're right.
But
You're
but
right.
it's still really, really funny.
I did look at Baby Luigi pictures, but I couldn't find one that worked well enough for the positioning of this. So I was like, I'll go with this one. But there you go. That's it. Joe Shabadoo says Norman Reedus for Smash Brothers. Consider me. Oh, here you go. Joe Shabadoo says Norman Reedus for Smash Brothers. Consider me both a spider and fly.
Whoa.
There you go.
Was buzz.
He's not
Wow.
saying it's a rumor. He's saying it's true.
You
It's
better
a rumor.
you better watch out. He's gonna have a lawsuit on his hands.
Yep.
I've
The
got,
spiders and flies are very litigious.
My
Excuse me.
Figment hoodie. Very nice.
Did you see the zipper?
Figment zipper.
Come on. It was a
Come on, you.
5-minute wait to get on the
By
Figment
the way,
ride.
That's
speaking
good.
of,
I love him.
I'm wearing. You have a hoodie on. You're cold now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Perimenopause.
I have a hoodie on because we have the air on and I'm cold all the time. But I want to say my hoodie is a Demon Slayer hoodie. It doesn't say it's a Demon Slayer hoodie. It's the same. I'm gonna say shirt because I don't know the name and I'm an ignorant American. But whatever Tanjiro wears, his outfit, I have this. This has the same pattern that he has. But I'm talking about it because the trailer came out today. The first full trailer for the first in the trilogy of Demon Slayer movies, like how the series ends. They're doing 3 movies, and they put out the first trailer today. It looks so good. Looks so good. September 12th. I cannot wait. That movie's gonna be so good. Anyway, more Sakurai talk. I'm only gonna do this very quickly. So there's this guy, Reese Riley. He has the Kiwi Talks podcast. We've shared a lot of his information in the past because he has close ties to Retro Studios. He's interviewed multiple people at Retro Studios. So he certainly has connections in the industry and has gotten inside information before. He came out with something not related to anything retro, but with his track record of retro stuff and other information he's got correct, he wouldn't pull information out of thin air. He was talking about Sakurai and Kirby Air Riders, which is coming to the Switch 2 this year. Yeah, this year. When everybody thinks Sakurai, they think Smash Brothers, but we're getting Kirby Air Riders, and people are like, "Where's Smash Brothers for Switch 2?" The rumor is Sakurai agreed to continue working on Smash Brothers and do another installment.
But only if it's all AI.
But he was like, I want to do a bit of a passion project first. You let me do Kirby Air Riders, or you let me do a new Kirby Air Ride. I do that first as my passion project, and then I'll do Smash Brothers. And Nintendo was like, okay, we could do that deal. That is the rumor of what happened. And Sakurai has not in detail worked on a Kirby game in a very long time. Obviously, he was there in the beginning. It's very crucial to the first game and the NES game Kirby's Adventure, and more installments down the line. But eventually, he moved away from Kirby, so he hasn't been deeply involved with Kirby in a long time. But as a rumored passion project, he was like, "Let me get back to Kirby Air Ride," which he was directly related to and made and involved in, and it was birthed because of him. So he's supposedly like, "Let me get back. I want to do a Kirby Air Riders. Let me get that. I don't want to go right back into another Smash Brothers. I'll do the Kirby game, and then we'll talk Smash Brothers." And Nintendo's like, "You got it." So that's the rumor of what happened. Not totally unbelievable. Here's the things we know for sure. I'm sure Nintendo was like, "Hey, Sakurai, you want to do a game on Switch 2?" And he's like, "Yeah. How about not Smash Brothers right away?" And Nintendo was like, "Oh, but we want Smash Brothers." And he was like, "How about I do something else first?" And they're like, "Okay." It's totally believable.
Is there I know he's the guy, he's the Smash Brothers guy,
He's the guy.
but is there a reason why they really need him at this point? It's
Yes.
Smash Brothers.
No.
It's characters.
No.
The characters have their moves. We know what they are.
So
Put them in environments where they're from their games. We don't need Sakurai to be chained to
I
this
would
game if he doesn't
argue
want to be there.
It's not that he doesn't want to be there, first off. It's that he doesn't want to go from Smash to Smash to Smash to Smash. You have to think about it like this in particular. He did Smash Brothers Wii U and 3DS, which was huge. Thank God he did the 3DS one. We still don't know why that came about. If it was just because he wanted to do 3DS or because Nintendo was like, Wii U's not doing too good. But he did that, and Wii U was a failure. And right after that, Nintendo was like, "Oh, can you rework that for our new system, Switch, and also add in an unbelievable amount of characters, and he was like, okay, and then worked on that for years, and then finally wraps that up not that long ago. And Nintendo to be like, how about a new Smash Brothers? He's got to be like, can I take a break for a little bit? Now, as far as Sakurai being how Nintendo just doing a Smash without him, I would argue 100% the opposite. Without Sakurai spearheading Smash Brothers, you are not going to get Smash Brothers. You're going to get something that outside looking in looks like Smash Brothers because you got characters and franchises and they're there and they might do Smash Brothers like moves, but the attention to detail, the stats, the intricacies of how everyone moves, the balancing, all of that, it's Sakurai through and through. This man literally plays these games until his hands don't work anymore. Like, he is the linchpin to the entire thing. If you're going to take Sakurai out, you're in huge trouble, and I don't know who you get to fill those shoes. Like, if you don't have Sakurai, you don't have Smash Brothers. It's not going to happen anywhere near like what it is without him. Like, it's not going to happen. It would. I would go as far to say it would be wrong to do it without him. There will be a time where it has to be made without him, but as long as the man is around, you don't make it without him. Like, sorry, static on the line. Yeah, I would say he has to be there 100%. It's not like you can just get somebody else to come in and do it.
All right.
He is.
Okay.
It'd be like making a Mortal Kombat without Ed Boon. Like, he's the guy that knows how it works, what it should be like, all the like everything that goes in. And on top of all that, Sakurai has the passion for video games in general. Sakurai's not just like, let's put Snake in there and how about Cloud, and like, Sakurai plays these games, knows these games, loves these games, appreciates the development that goes into them, the developers that work on them. And like, he brings like the little, it's not just like Cloud's there and he's got the big sword. It's like Cloud holds the sword this way because of his stance in this Final Fantasy game, and Cloud's hair looks like this because of this moment in Advent Children. And like, it's somebody who's like, for lack of a better term, like idiot savant when it comes to this stuff. He takes it that seriously, where he's like, thank you so much for allowing us to use your character. I'm going to treat them with the utmost respect. And I already know all this stuff because I'm in tune with all of this. I play all of this. Like, Sakurai is video games through and through. The man, I can't think of another developer that loves and appreciates video games more than Sakurai. You don't. A Smash Brothers without him would be wrong, unless he was, he quit game development altogether or he passes away. Like, it just shouldn't happen without him. So, fighting games require such ridiculous fine tuning. It's maddening. I can't even begin to fathom how this stuff gets made. And then you have something like Smash Brothers Ultimate, where it's like, okay, now you have this and there's 80 characters and they all have to play nice together. It's crazy. It's crazy. So yes, I would say he's the most crucial part of that, and doing it without him would be wrong. Hawk says, I don't know how Nintendo makes Smash 6. The add more stuff strategy loses its appeal when your game already possibly has too much stuff. Maybe you can take out all the stuff players don't want or need and then refine what's left. I think I might actually prefer Nintendo to make a new crossover game property that plays differently from Smash, and Smash takes a break for a while. I think the next Smash Brothers would be a back to basics, smaller roster with some new ideas thrown in. I really think that's what would happen. I think they change things up. I still think at its core it will be Smash, but I think they add in some new stuff in there, and I think they greatly reduce the roster. I'd say the roster ends up being like half of what it is. You still have your cores there, Mario and some Zelda characters and stuff like that, but I think they throw in some other characters you haven't seen at all, and I do think there's one or two like considerable innovations for the Smash Brothers franchise. I don't know what they are, and I don't have to know, and I don't have to think about it because I'm not the developer, but I think that's what happens.
Dark Metamorphosis!
Yeah, get Alucard in there, damn it. We got Richter. Let's see Alucard.
Did you call him Rector?
Richter. Damn near Rector. Rector Bellman. Hi,
Rectum
Rotswell. Good to
Belmont.
see you. Hi, Radical Defect. Good to see you. Sakurai also has an uncanny way of convincing third-party IP owners to work with him. Who else could have gotten Sora and Smash Brothers with Sakurai? Yeah, that's another thing. I don't know how. I don't know how Sakurai does what he does.
Come on.
What?
Like you wouldn't want your character in Smash Brothers.
You're thinking
people
of
are
it,
lining up
no.
for this
You're
guy.
thinking of a want. You're not thinking of it as a rights licensing deals. Like you don't just put Sora in Smash Brothers
The money.
because that's a deal that has to go through every layer of Square Enix and every layer of Disney. I cannot think of a more nightmare scenario than that. Because you don't just talk to Mr. Disney and he's like, of course I want him in that.
Or Mrs.
You have to talk to this part of Disney,
Money.
this part of Disney, this part of Disney. And they're like, he shouldn't do this because he shouldn't be fighting this character. He shouldn't do this because he shouldn't be seen in this light. He shouldn't do this because we don't want him punching Mario. He shouldn't do I cannot believe that Sora is in Smash Brothers. It's an impossibility. It's something that people joked about having in Smash Brothers because they knew it would never happen. And it took so long for it to happen because of all those layers I have to go through. And Sakurai said, believe it or not, Disney was easier than it was for Square Enix. He's like, convincing Square Enix to do it took an incredibly long time.
Because Disney wants the money and Square Enix cares a little bit about the characters.
I know I'm not even going to say
It's
half
about
joking. I know
money.
you're partially.
It's
not
about money. They
They're-
got a ton of money to let them use the character. That's how it has to be.
No, there's some deals that were made for characters in Smash Brothers where it's a net zero as far as money goes.
And my character gets to punch Mario in the face. Yes.
You are like in the grand scheme of things of like a company wants to make money. Yes, that is certainly true. But when it comes to IP like this, there are people that are involved where that doesn't happen. It's not just money for them. The higher ups, yes, probably they're like, how much can we make? How much do we have to spend? That's where it's a hard line for them. But below them are the rights holders, the IP holders, the people that care about the licenses, where it's not about that, like for them, where there's much more that goes into it than that. So, it's like Banjo-Kazooie. Like that didn't just happen overnight. That's been asked about for over a decade before it actually happened because there were so many things that had to happen to line up to get to that point where it was a possibility because that stuff doesn't happen overnight. These deals take years and years and years to happen and then don't happen. Sakurai has said, without naming what they were, there's characters he's been asking to get in these games for decades and they never get approved. And it just doesn't happen because one rights holder over here or one IP holder is like, we don't want our character to appear with this character. So
we don't
it doesn't
want
happen.
Carrot Man from Toe Jam and Earl.
Exactly. That's been the big one.
Everyone wants Carrot Man.
Man, what a bad week for Colonel not to be here to draw the picture because we could have Carrot Man in Smash Brothers. See, Shrek. There's people who joke about Shrek and want him in Smash as a joke, but there's people who legitimately want Shrek in there for real.
See, I wouldn't agree with Shrek because he's not video game character first, right?
I would agree with you on that as well. But as Smash Brothers games continue on, you never know how far that umbrella is going to stretch out. Will it go beyond a celebration of gaming to a celebration of pop culture or a celebration of gaming and maybe animation? Who knows? I don't know. Right now, it's only a celebration of gaming, which is how I personally want it. Could there be characters that make their way into the game that I'd be like, that's really cool to see? Yes, but I still wouldn't want it. I want it to be a celebration of gaming. I want...
For Smash?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would cheapen the experience.
I'm someone who doesn't like that Link's in Mario Kart. I don't want Link or Animal Crossing or Splatoon in Mario Kart. It still makes me mad. I don't want them there. I don't think they should be there.
Why?
Because it's Mario Kart.
Okay.
Smash Brothers from the beginning has been about game characters from different franchises coming together. Mario Kart has been
the
about
one place where like they're all allowed to play together, but everywhere else they have to
Smash
stay in
Brothers
their own.
slogan is everyone is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everyone in gaming is here.
Everybody race together.
Everybody fight together. Yeah, Mario Kart is everybody's here from Mario Kart. I don't want Link. I don't want Inklings. I don't want Isabelle. I don't want Villager. Get them out.
Well,
Get them out.
They did. Congratulations.
I don't want Diddy. Technically, Diddy shouldn't be there.
Well, he's not. So get over it. God, why are you talking about it? Some of us like Diddy. Kong.
I'm not saying. Listen, if there's anybody that loves Diddy Kong, it's me.
Oh, now he loves Diddy Kong.
And I don't have any problem with him being in Mario Kart At least he's Mario adjacent.
I get
But if
why he's
we're-
not there. I get it. You
But
don't
if
have
we're
to
talking
explain
about
it.
Mario Kart in the sense that what I want it to be, Donkey Kong should be there, sure. Because he's hung out with Mario in Mario games. They were there. They were the Jumpman and Mario, baby. They're the dynamic
That
duo.
makes sense.
Diddy Kong didn't come around to the Super Nintendo days.
That's fine.
Put in Donkey Kong Jr. He's cool. Put him in there.
Yeah, give me the wife beater. Or like the A shirt if you want.
Yeah, but like I'm also, personally, I don't want those Inkling Villager, any of that stuff in there. But I'm not like, this ruins the game and I'll never play it, because it really doesn't matter. I'm not like the
Also,
sanctity of Mario Kart.
I think that like it might encourage some people to join in a game that might not have otherwise. Like, but there's a villager. You want to play as the villager?
Yeah, but then the question is, where does the line get drawn for that? Because yes, you could always add in somebody else. Like there's somebody that would be
So
like,
what if they
I could be
called it-
Michael Myers in Mario Kart.
No.
Great.
What if it was called Nintendo Kart?
Yeah, then put in whoever you want. From
What about
Nintendo.
Sebastian Toot.
Is it called Nintendo Kart?
No, it's Mario Kart.
Then Sebastian
You're
shouldn't
doing him
be in
dirty.
there.
You'll love him.
He shouldn't be in there. It's regardless of me loving the character. Put me in
What about Josh?
Toot Kart.
What about Josh?
Robot?
Yeah.
No.
Wow, Josh.
This is a very easy, hard line for me. Are you in Mario games? Yes or no?
How do
No, get away.
Maybe-
Yes, come on in.
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
Don't listen, Josh. You don't want to hear it.
Why would you say that?
Josh, it's a touchy subject. If I'd be very happy for you if you were in Mario Kart, but I don't think you should be there. I don't
Smash
think-
that subscribe button.
I don't think I should be there. I don't think George should be there.
sometimes when you talk to Josh, it's sort of like when the guy talks to Marcus. Like you kind of talk to him the way that what's his name talks to Marcus.
In what way is that?
I don't know. Just it reminds me of that.
Okay, I'll take that as a compliment.
No, not at all.
Drake says, would you be okay with more Donkey Kong characters? Maybe a DK Island DLC expansion. I'm only okay with more Donkey Kong characters if Mario has hung out with them. And I mean in a game. I mean, like, I don't want lore written where you tell me that, like, Mario and Cranky hung out one day. I want to see it in a game somewhere. So,
Somebody just send you a tip.
yeah.
Like, hey, I caught Mario and Cranky
Like
hanging
a
out.
paparazzi picture of the two. Cranky and Mario spotted hanging out together. Yeah, but again, like, I'm being uber nerd, having fun talking seriously about this stuff and having passion for it. But if Nintendo announced that, I'd have my bit on the podcast where I talked about it. And would it rub me the wrong way? Yes. But do I really care? No, it's fine. I wouldn't boycott the game for it. I'd just be like, I don't get why these characters are in here, but it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. I'm fine with it. It's fine. Yeah, there you go, Red Souza. That's the loophole. Red Souza says Mario's in Smash Brothers, so he hangs out with all these people, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I just don't look at Smash Brothers as like lore accurate, although Smash Brothers has plenty of lore, especially when you look at something like the Subspace Emissaries. So, I'm just a hypocrite. That's what it is. But yeah, I like my Mario. Like, I like that Mario Kart world is like Mario characters, and Mario NPCs are now drivable or raceable characters. I like that. That's what I like, because there's so many of those that are in there. But for some godforsaken reason, we still can't show any love to Wart. How does Wart keep getting passed over? How is Cow a racer before Wart is a racer? I don't have any problem with Cow being a racer. I don't have any problem with Pokey being a racer. I don't have any problem with any of that stuff. But how has Wart not been a racer yet?
Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say, it's probably something against that game, but no, Birdo's like a huge character to this day. So it's not because it's Super Mario 2 related.
And Wart is double duty. He's Legend of Zelda and Mario.
Oh wow!
And what do we get? We get
Wait
Wart.
a minute. Which Zelda?
Link's Awakening.
We talked about this, I'm sure. Both dream games. So he doesn't really exist because he was only
Yeah.
dreamed about.
Yeah.
So we need like a dream
Game.
racing game. We need like a
Dream.
I don't know.
It is. That's like a piece of Nintendo lore that is absolutely fascinating to me that Nintendo, in so many ways, does not care about lore at all. They'll just be like, Nintendo famously has said, we make sure the game is fun first, and then we figure out the story later. But conversely, Nintendo's like, Wart is only a dream character and only appears in dreams. I don't know why that's a steadfast rule at Nintendo, but it clearly is. It clearly is.
I don't know.
But
I
how
just
the
don't
hell
think
did
anyone's-
Birdo make it out? Why is
I don't know.
Wart? You dreamt up Wart. So that means Mario dreamt up everybody in Super Mario Brothers 2. So how did Birdo escape, but Wart's only a dream?
Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me.
I got to think about this more. Or was the dream made by Wart? I don't know now. Did Wart make both Link's dream and Mario's dream happen? Is that what Nintendo's saying here? What's going on? This is a whole thing I've never explored. Somebody on YouTube has to have like a 7-hour video about
maybe
this.
the lore runs deeper than we thought.
I guess. Shy Guys are another one. Yeah, Shy Guys made it out. They escaped.
Yeah, they were cool.
Shy Guys, who I race as in Mario Kart World.
Interesting.
Wart means dream master in German. There you go. Wart was the worst part of the dream.
That can't be true.
Wart was the worst part of the
Why did
dream.
I
Those
believe that for a
creepy
second?
masks aren't a racer either. Phanto masks? Yeah, there's no Phanto
Those things creeped
racer.
me out.
Scared the crap out of me as a kid being chased by a Phanto mask.
Yeah.
I like them now. Just because I like what they do. But as a kid, yeah, you felt when you were running with that key and you were always like,
Ugh.
I could dig one more hole. Or I could make one more jump up there. Yeah. Well, that's why you picked Toad, because that sucker can dig like none other.
That's
sucker,
right.
It's because he's low to the ground.
Wario is German. Coincidence? I don't know. It's all show. I don't know. We need a whole podcast. That, you know what? Next time, well, I don't need to say next time. Austin, you listen to all these podcasts. Your next video needs to be about the lore history of Wart. I need you to really dig deep into that. Well, that was a tangent, but it was Nintendo related. So there you go. Smash Brothers, Sakurai. He's like, let me do Kirby Air Riders. Is it true? Who knows? But we could see how it might be true. Moving on. We had a story a while back
Moving
about
on.
game key cards and how an insider who is an analyst said that Nintendo worked with third parties on the idea for Switch 2 game key cards, and third parties applauded the idea because they wanted a way to show their games in physical spaces, yet they didn't want to spend the money to do full game cards, especially the bigger ones. And Nintendo worked with third parties to be like, here's game key cards. They give you a physical presence. They are cheaper than a regular game card. And then the user just downloads it. So we heard that third parties applauded Nintendo for this. Now Nintendo, during their 85th meeting of shareholders, talked a little bit more about game key cards on Switch 2. Nintendo's president talked about it, and he says there's a variety of reasons why game key cards came around. First off, he says game file sizes on Switch 2 are larger than that on Switch. Obviously, that is the case for third parties. Not so much Nintendo. There's still pretty much the same amount of space for roughly. You know, they're a little bit bigger, but like, you know, look at Donkey Kong Bonanza. That's 8.5 gigs. Not outside of the realm of possibility on the original Switch for first party stuff. But third party games are certainly bigger. Nintendo also says that goes hand in hand with third parties wanting a solution for bringing the games to retail. And that led to the creation of game key cards. So we heard what the insider said has now been echoed by Nintendo's president himself. So there's at least a few reasons why game key cards exist. And now you are free to still hate them or hate them more or not care about them or blame them for why everything is bad in the world or whatever you want. But there's your answer from Nintendo's president, as we expected it to be based on the analyst's information. Not surprisingly, this led to a huge conversation in the comments section with many heated things. So I think
It's best just left untouched, I think.
there's certain people when I see commenting, I don't want to say that. But yes, there are people who can talk about this with a level head, which most of you are, and other people who cannot. And it is what it is, and it turned into a fight, so I'm not gonna bother. But here's what I will bother with: North America's releases this week. I'll tell you what came out in best I can. Thank you, Do. North America, what did we get this week? Let me tell you. Tamagotchi Plaza, the new Tamagotchi game. I used to play these games a lot on Wii and DS, and they were a lot of fun. This is the newest one, Tamagotchi Plaza. Now, I want to stress this, people. This game is out on Switch, but this game is also out on Switch 2. And the Switch 2 version has bonus content, extra content, and special things you don't get in the Switch version. So if you have a Switch 2 and you like the Tamagotchi series, get the Switch 2 version. Available.
Is the game fun?
I haven't played it. As a owner of multiple DS, 3DS, and Wii versions of Tamagotchi, and also as someone who really doesn't care about Tamagotchi, I'll say those games are fun. They were fun.
My body is ready.
So Switch and Switch 2, you can pick that up now. A Bibelot Y Break. No idea what that is. Against the Storm. Anvil Saga. Arcade Archive Strategy X. Ascendant. Bombus, which is a game about walking around as a pair of shoes. Better Listening. Better Connections. Block Party DX. Boxville 2. Cargo. That's about a car. Not carrying things. Cargo, all one word. But capital C, capital G. Cars Wheels, all one word. Crayon Dino. Cult versus Gal.
Beep beep.
Dead of Darkness. Dragon Eclipse. Dungeons of Paint. The MSX2 version of Mado Monogatari 1, 2, 3. Fast Striker EX. Flower Shop, The Complete Story. Front Mission 3 Remake. Warning. Nina, warning. This game appears to have used an AI upscaler and other AI assets. So if you're sensitive to that, no official statement on it yet, but the evidence is pretty damning. So put that out there. Hirai Nia. Hole Digging Master. Hope's Farm 2. Into the Emberlands. The Irem Collection Volume 3. Klaus Lee Thunderballs. Locomoto. Merge World Alchemist. Mind and Sight. Spot the Difference Workout. Mino's Dungeon. No Heroes Here 2. Oyerbo. Pixel Game Maker Series Princess Pamu and the 5 Means. Prehistoric Gal. Pro Roulette. Remember. Retro Drive Revamped. Robot Girl's Dream. Robot Battle Championship. Ruffy in the Riverside. I plugged that one a few times now. Check that out. Cool platformer. Cool ideas at play. Sleepy Meadow. Stasis. Super Sucker. Sushi versus Burger Race. Until then, an award-winning game. Looks like a real tearjerker as well. Look into that one. And Zombies Overloaded. No comment on mine for this week, sadly. MomBrain, would you care to handle the Nicky Hills re-releases?
Okay.
What are the next European masterpieces? Let's find out with
MomBrains.
Nicky's sweet releases.
Sure, I'm happy to do that for you.
I got a funny Nicky Hill story I'll tell after this.
Okay. Okay, everybody, here we go. First up, we have Tamagotchi Plaza, Nintendo Switch 2 edition. A Bibelot Y Break.
What year of our Lord is it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
That's Nicky's job. Against the Storm. Agartha. Agent 7 Spy Revenge. And Aisling. A-Isling? A-I-S-L-I-N-G. I don't know. Anvil Saga. Arisen Force Life Devotee. Or Devotee. Bee Flowers Save the Garden. That sounds nice. Block Party DX, as in Degeneration X, as in Suck It. Boxville 2. Cargo. Cars Wheels. Cats Visiting Wild West. And Cat Terror, The Abandoned House. Followed by Cozy Gardener Simulator and Cozy Grove. I don't know if they're related, but alphabetically they are. Crayon Dino, Cult versus Gal, Dark Dolls, Egg Console Mado Monogatari 123 MSX2. Holy moly. Exo Caliber or Calibre, Fantasy of War, Fast Striker EX, Lore Plan Puzzle, Flower Shop, The Complete Story, Front Mission 3, that's when you have to go pee.
No, number 1 is P. Number 2 is poop. 3 is both.
I got a Front Mission 3.
You got to pull over. I got a Front Mission 3.
You don't want to know. It's Front Mission 3 Remake, by the way. And going along with that is Hole Digging Master.
Mm-hmm.
Go dig me a hole. I got a Front Mission 3. Hope's Farm 2. How to, the number 2, Escape, Lost Submarine. Klaus Lee, Thunderballs. Korean Drone Flying Tour, Dongmak Beach. Locomoto, ooh, Ramin.
Okay.
Masala Drive.
Masala? Malasala?
Nope, just Masala. Match 3 Adventure Bundle. Merge World Alchemist. Mind and Sight Spot the Difference Workout. Minos Dungeon. It's Minos. So
I said Minos, but I
Okay.
don't know.
Oribo.
Mino.
Once Upon a Puppet. Parry Nightmare. Parry, which is I
Get
think
that guy in Smash
like a
Brothers.
sword, right? Parry.
Yes.
Pirate Trails. Tentacles and Treasures.
Mm.
Pixel Game Maker Series Princess Pamu and the 5 Moons. Poppy Playtime Chapter 4. That's a scary.
Poppy
Bunch of
Playtime, very
characters.
popular, yeah.
Yeah. Prehistoric Gal. Rail Route. Real Estate Simulator from Bum to Millionaire.
Mm.
Retro Drive Revamped. Robot Girl's Dream.
From bum to millionaire is pretty good.
Great
Yep.
subtitle.
Liver and onions.
Robot Girl's Dream. Robot Battle Championship. One word. Ruffy in the Riverside. Rusty Rangers. Sleepy Meadow. Stasis. Strange Hunting Grounds. Sugao Girls. Dragon Love. Supermarket Simulator 2025. Sushi vs. Burger Race. Tamagotchi Plaza. Or Plaza. The original Morhun Hunt.
Yeah.
Until then, Unwording, Zombie Scream, and last but certainly not least, Zombies Overloaded.
Thank you, MomBrain. There
You are
is-
welcome.
I'll refresh just to double check, but there is. Oh, now there is a comment. MomBrain, is there a comment?
Nicky is better than Santa Claus. It's from
Who's-
Nico
There we
Darunia.
go.
Nicky is better than Santa Claus. He brings presents only on Christmas, while Nicky gifts us with sweet releases all year round.
Well, let me tell you a censored version of a Nicky Hill story so you can get a glimpse into the man's psyche. I can't tell you the full story, and I think the people at the table will laugh as to why. So Nicky Hill was sending me some TikToks the other night. He was sending them late because he knows I'm up late. And we have a little, no offense, we have a little side TikTok thing because we send each other ones that we know you won't like. So it's all weird stuff.
That's good.
And he sent me like 4 in a row, and he's like, oh my God, you know what? I don't want to misquote him here because I don't want him to rake me over the coals. We go into podcast mode and I forget what his name is in my phone because it's not Nicky Hill. I'm hurrying.
Failure.
Tell me about it. Okay, so he sent me a whole bunch of TikToks, and then he sent me something that said he sent me a TikTok about like a big, awesome looking dessert, and I was like, oh, this looks great, and he was like, I gotta lock in and go to the gym. I gotta go to bed. Good night. And I said good night. And then I want to see how long it was after this. He said, holy moly, I've been up for too long at this point. Good night. And then he called me. This was at 3:15 in the morning, by the way. Then he called me, I'm going to say 30 minutes later. And I was like, this guy is
Holy
supposed to be in
cow.
bed. And he's like, I had a dream. Or no, it wasn't a dream. He's like, I was thinking. And I can't tell you what he was thinking about because it's an idea for an invention. And the people at the table will know he takes it very seriously. And
Edge
if
of
I
the bed.
give up the invention, he's going to be like, somebody's going to steal it and they're going to make it and steal my idea. So I can't tell you what it was. But I was like, that's nice. Why are you calling me at 3:45 in the morning? You told me you were going to bed. And he's like, well, I was, but I had this idea and I didn't want to lose it. And I was like, okay, well, now I know it. Thank you. And he's like, I got to go to bed. I was like, I know you said that a half hour ago.
Was he in a hotel room? Because isn't he away?
He had to be in a hotel room. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yes. And him being in a hotel room is tied to what his idea was. I will tell you, it was a legit good idea.
Nice.
I said that to MomBrain yesterday. I was like, here's the idea. I was like, this seems like a good idea to me. So we'll tell you afterwards. You're sworn to secrecy, of course. But hopefully the rest of you listening to the podcast, one day, Nicky Hill will present you the idea and you can decide if it's worth your money or not. Gets my stamp of approval. I would be interested. But anyway, that's a glimpse into the mind of Nicky Hill. And that's our news. And we're done. And MomBrain, what have you been playing?
I don't think I played anything.
But that's going to change.
Yeah.
Because now work is, regular job is done.
Summer school
vacation trip
begins.
is over. You have way more time now, and you are going to be playing a game, probably multiple games. What will they be? Who knows? What's running around in your mind? What are the possibilities?
Undertale. I just only started Blueprints, so I would like to finish that. And then there was a game I downloaded on my Switch because somebody was saying like, I want like a cozy equivalent to Fortnite to like go online and play it with my friends. And it's like a life simulator of some sort or a something. I forget what it was.
Downloaded it?
Yeah, I think I did. I think it was free.
Palia?
That might be it.
Or the Disney game?
It wasn't the
Dreamlight
Disney
Valley?
game.
Palia?
It might have been Palia.
I've heard good things about Palia. It looks really good, honestly.
I'm thinking I'm going to try and recruit Droth to like.
It seems like it's a good mix of it's cozy if you want it to be cozy, but also there's some more like action-esque things if you want. Like Stardew Valley has that, right? You go into the mines and you beat things up and whatever. Yeah. So.
But it's not like a. I mean, I guess you can play online. I don't know. I'm interested to see
Palia?
No.
Stardew Valley.
You can, yes.
Definitely there's online.
Yeah.
From what I've seen of Palia, it looks very interesting. I've gotten very close to playing it, and I'm not someone who plays those kind of games.
Yeah.
And their updates that they put out every month look like very interesting. And every time I see an article about the game, it's always a very positive article, even from outlets that I personally think high cumulative for outlets I personally think are very like nitpicky and complaining. So how about you?
Gamer.
How about you? Josh is a fan apparently. How about you give it a shot and tell me, and maybe I'll hop in on it.
Okay.
And that's that. What have you been playing?
Ooh. I played some Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's the bug off today.
Ooh, nice.
So ran around, caught some bugs, and we played some Fortnite. Fortnite is good. They've added some new things. Did you see the hammers back, RMC? The big hammer that you didn't know that?
You're kidding. I have goosebumps right now.
Oh,
You're
baby.
kidding me.
Yeah.
When did it come back? Yesterday?
Might have been just yesterday.
You're
or the
kidding
day
me.
before.
This is blowing my mind. I can't even believe this.
Well, you didn't play for 2 days, right? I guess so.
I didn't play because of family yesterday. I didn't play the day before because of family. 2 days in a row, family.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
back.
you're kidding me. I'm gonna text I'm gonna text the group chat now because they all love the hammer. It's gonna blow up.
Nice.
The hammer's back.
It's back, baby, and you can use it to fast travel 3 times.
This
And
is the greatest day of
you
my life.
smash them and they go flying.
I can't believe this. Holy crap. Oh my God. I'm the happiest I think I've ever been.
Wow.
I wrote a Patreon about how the hammer is my favorite game or my favorite weapon in any game. I can't believe this.
Well, yeah, it's back, baby.
Thank you for telling me.
Sure.
Not that I wouldn't play Fortnite, but oh my God. I'm going to their Twitter account to see if they mentioned it.
Yeah. So this season's been fun for the fact that we've got a lot of traversal options now. So we've got the hammer. There's that surfboard that's really cool. There's the bass boost gloves. There's the Angry Birds Birdman combo with the bird blanket. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So that's been fun, and we've been playing pretty well for the most part. and played some more Mario Kart World on the Switch 2. It's pretty great. Nothing really more to say about that. I guess, yeah, I don't know. I really like it. I wish there was. I don't even know if I have any wishes for it. It's pretty great. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head right now. But I've been really loving it, and I can't wait for the soundtrack to be available. And then I also played some Switch Welcome Tour. I was able to game spot it, game pass it, borrow it from.
Come on, man. Come on. Game Pass is Xbox.
Game key card it.
Game is part of it.
Game pass.
No,
Game
and
share.
Game Pass is Microsoft only.
Game chat.
No.
Game borrow.
I mean, I'll tell you when you want to know. I'm
Right
not gonna
now,
force you.
please.
Virtual game card.
Virtual game card. So I was able to virtual game card it from RMC, which was cool in its own right. I just had to kind of hold my Switch close to his, and he kind of beamed it over to me. Needed to be connected to his Wi-Fi, but I was able to then go home and play it, which was really cool, as if I had really borrowed the game. So I like Switch Welcome Tour because it's really kind of showing me what the Switch 2 has to offer, and I didn't think about any of the stuff that they're talking about. I guess you just have in your head what you think goes into a video game system, but you don't realize just how intricate it really can be. And this is. It's kind of like, it makes you, maybe this was their purpose for the game, but like it makes you think like, wow, this is a modern marvel, this Nintendo Switch 2, like insane.
Like I said to you before you started playing it, when you really go into that game and like do the tours and whatever, you're like, how do things get made? Because they're like, like this, because the controller vibrates in this way, and we don't want it to mess with this thing, and we need to put like a 1 millimeter inch piece of foam here to ensure that everything. And like, how do these things ever get made? How do people do this?
Yeah.
Like, it's just one little tiny piece of this whole thing.
Yeah, it really was interesting because from me on the outside looking in, it's just like, oh, okay, there's magnets now that connect the thing, and that's about it. Like, it's a bit bigger, but like there's so much more to it. And I love how it shows you that through tech demos and through very easy to understand bite-sized like learning quiz segments. That I didn't find the quizzes all that compelling, but I found the facts kind of compelling. So it didn't really matter that I felt like I was back at school. It was simple and yet informative, and it made me really appreciate what I was holding in my hands. Like, as you're feeling the HD Rumble 2, and as you're like, there's a lot of segments that they want you to be handheld with it. So I got some handheld time with it, and as you're playing with it, you're like, man, it made me so excited for what's to come, because I was thinking like, this thing, they keep throughout the experience comparing it to the Switch 1, and you see just how far they've come from Switch 1 to Switch 2.
As you can see here, the Switch 1 is a piece of garbage.
Kind of. But like, I was getting to the part where I was like, I love the Switch so much, and it's been around, 8 years? Like, and everything that it's accomplished in 8 years, I was thinking, imagine what this Switch 2 can do. Like, as I was learning about it, I was like, man, imagine the stuff that the Switch 2 can do in the next 8 years.
Yeah.
And I really hope that people other than Nintendo take advantage of some of these things that the Switch 2 can do.
And like I said to you at the start of Switch 2, there have been encouraging things from multiple third parties. Square Enix has taken advantage. Capcom has taken advantage. There's other examples that are. CD Projekt Red took full advantage of everything, like mouse, gyro, HD run, like all of it. They were all touchscreen. They were like, everything, we want to do it, but we want to actually like not use it just to use it. They were like, we really want to do it. CD Projekt Red put out a whole blog about them deciding they wanted to use everything on the Switch 2 and like figuring out how to do it. And the developer was like, now he's like, we were thinking of like what movements you would actually want to do for motion controls that would feel good and be fun. And he was like, now if I play the game on Steam Deck, I find myself being like, oh, that would have been more fun if I was able to do it like physically with my hand. He's like, and he was saying like it has cross save. And he's like, there'll be specific sections where I'm like, I want to make sure I play this on Switch 2 because this is going to be really visceral. And then I could go back to PC for this part. And I was like, it was very clear they put a ton of thought into it, which I was like, that's awesome.
That's great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to what the possibilities are, because it's even in the little tech demos, some of them are like 5 seconds long, and you're still really impressed with with how responsive. I mean, you use the mouse mode a lot in it, and it's just something that works. I mean, it's a Nintendo trait. It seems to 9 times out of 10, it's just going to work great. And it's no different. It's no different here. I mean, when you need it to be mouse mode, you just put it in mouse mode, like literally by holding it like a mouse, and then it's there. And it's so responsive. There's one very simple tech demo where you're just like, or it's a mini game where you're just shooting targets in mouse mode, and you got to do it as fast as possible. And
tell me, you can't get the third gold in that, right? The third gold medal.
I don't think I can.
I tried for like it's under 2 seconds. I think I can't. My body can physically not do it that quickly.
Is that the one where their move four targets are moving, rotating in a circle, and you have to hit them?
No, all of them have like 3 medals that you can get. So this was just the one that was 3 that were stationary, and I've tried
I might not have gotten it then.
Tried so many times.
But yeah, just like the fact that it was so responsive, and I could, like, with enough practice, I was getting like really good at it, and it was like, okay, this isn't some gimmick. Like, this actually works great, and there's no setup at all for it. It's not going to be a pain in the butt. And I could do it on my leg, or I could do it on the couch next to me. Like, it really was so easy. So all that kind of stuff was, it leaves me excited for the future of what it could do. And it was great to learn about all the technology. The technology is incredible. Really, it has, as much as I liked it, and I liked the museum format, and I think it's a real slick way to show off what the Switch 2 can do. And I wish it were a pack-in. I wish everyone who owned a Switch 2 could experience this, like, just with the system. I think that's the way it should have been. But I think, like you said, RMC, it would be worth $10 if you paid for it. There's a lot there.
Yeah.
And
it's like a sizable experience.
Yeah, it took a while. I finished it. I'm still going through, like, going back and like finishing up things. I've gotten all the stamps and all that stuff. But yeah, like, it's not some crappy little, like, half-assed experience. Like, it's a real slick game. I like it. It does kind of, it walks that line where I don't know if they really wanted us to know about this stuff, or if they were like, we know people are going to complain about the price, so let's tell them why it's so expensive. Let's do it.
I mean,
let's really hammer it home, because
I don't think that would make any sense, because you have already bought the system. So, like, you already spent the money. They don't need to justify.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. The money.
So I don't know. And the other half of the line that it's treading is this just a big advertisement for, like, the Wii wheel and the Nintendo, like, the Pro Controller 2, and because you're walking around and there's, like, little characters you can interact with, and there was one where these kids were like, let's tell mommy we want a Nintendo Pro 2 controller. It's like, get out of here, kid. Like, it's like, we haven't mommy spent enough money on you. Like, but like, so there was, like, stuff like that. But then there was another guy you talked to, and the guy was just like, I can't believe they're showing us all this stuff. And I was like, okay, I get it. We're really privileged to have them, like, kind of give us a peek behind the curtain.
It is very unlike Nintendo as far as this software goes. Us learning about this and seeing about this and learning how it all came together. That's shocking for me. Nintendo doesn't ever talk like that. So I was like, it's nice to see them kind of doing that stuff. I appreciate it. And there are people in the way people talk in that game is so, I don't know any other way to put it. It's so Nintendo. Like you'll see like a guy in a Joy-Con and he's like, he says something like, I never knew I could see a Joy-Con from this perspective, or like it's so massive in here, or like just the things that they say. I'm like, it's so Nintendo. It's like cutesy and weird and fun. It's just like I really like it. I found myself multiple times while I was playing it being like, I think I might like this as a real life museum. Like if something was like this.
Such a cool museum. I really liked the museum aspect of it. I was addicted to like finding all the stamps. I thought that was fun because each stamp you found, like, you know, you check it off the box, but you see all the parts and you learn about it. And like, you know, part of me was like, I know they do it anyway, but like, I hope those, you know, people online whose shtick is to like buy electronics and then like smash them or like open them up and see what it's inside. It's like, just spend $10 extra, play this game, and you know what's inside. You don't, because you literally get to walk through the inside of the systems. And like, it was interesting. It was more interesting than I thought it would be, to be honest. I didn't think it would be that compelling.
There's also like older gamers in there who are like, buttons have shortchanged a lot since I was playing on the Nintendo Entertainment System and stuff like that.
There were a lot of cool things where they were just like, you know, we've been doing this for a long time, and then they'd show you like a little history of Nintendo.
Their online stuff I thought was really interesting, where they're like, you know, Nintendo's has a long history of online interactions with their systems, and they were like the Satellaview on, and we're like, you know, I know about that because I'm a nerd, but I'm like, your average Nintendo person here probably doesn't even know what the hell that is.
Dude,
and they're going to be like, the Super Nintendo could go online?
There was something that I never heard of before. It was like a camera with a light on it. It was called. It looked like, you know, that stupid meme of Jackie Chan where he's like, "Oh, look a baby." It looked just like that thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Wait, what is this thing?" And I don't remember what section it was. It was called the light camera or the light.
Maybe it was the section about the webcam.
I don't remember what it was, but it was something I'd never seen before, and I was like, "This thing's nuts." So
I also like how it doesn't shy away from all of Nintendo's history, because there will be stuff like, whatever, we've got a rich history, and it'll be like, you know, and they show like the Virtual Boy or like the Wii U shown multiple times, and they're like, you know,
they show the Wii U
some companies would be like, don't mention that thing, but here they mention it. I'm like, I like that they're like pointing that stuff out. It's a part of their history. So
yeah, I everything you'd said about it is absolutely true. I just, I don't know. I think it's really great. I appreciate you letting me borrow it, and it's very fun.
I have a feeling we're going to enjoy a rich history of virtual game card sharing throughout the Switch 2's lifespan. So I look forward to that.
Me pretty much borrowing from you, because I can't imagine you needing something I haven't.
I'm one of those people, like, you know, the gift givers, where it's like, I like giving gifts more than receiving. I like to know people are playing games and at least giving them a shot more than I do playing them myself. So I'm more than happy. Yeah. Well, I got anything else on Switch 2 you want? You let me know. Yakuza or anything you would never try otherwise, you could virtual game card it from me.
Well, I just lent our buddy Death Stranding, the original. He'll probably never play it, and I'm sure his wife probably won't let him play it, but he's got the game.
I thought that's who you were talking about. Yes.
So hopefully he'll play it. I was like, the sequel just came out. I'm giving you this game. Like, you have to freaking play it. But yeah, as far as Switch Welcome Tour, again, I couldn't believe some of it is incredible. The balls inside, like the HD Rumble 2, it's really, really cool. I'm looking forward to like some stuff with HD Rumble 2. We'll see. It made me appreciate the Switch Pro Controller 2 a lot more. Remapping the buttons is very cool, and the fact that HD Rumble 2 is in that as well, I didn't realize. So yeah, really great presentation. You know, who am I to tell Nintendo how to do their business, because they're wildly successful and I absolutely love them, but dang, it would be a great pack-in game. I mean, we've said it, it's no secret, but I guess people are buying it, so who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares? But yeah, I'm gonna keep playing it a little bit more. RMC, obviously, if you need it, just take it back. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna snoop around and try to do, because as you get more medals, you can like do more side missions and things, or not even like
You could
mini
also, I'm sure you read about it. You could do the, I don't want to say cheat, but it is a cheat. The
Oh, yeah.
SOS thing to just grab medals and go into whatever you want.
Yeah, I could do that too. But
Which I do appreciate that they put in there, because it's like, I would like to experience this, but I'm not good enough to get medals and this, that, or the other thing. So it's nice that they have that option in there.
yeah, I think that's cool. So yeah, really cool. I'd say if you have the means, definitely check it out. But because like a lot of it too, I think you can explain to somebody like, oh, it's really cool. It feels like there's, you've got maracas in your hands, but it's just the HD Rumble 2, like stuff like that. You can explain to somebody, but it's like when you actually start playing with it and feeling it yourself, you're like, oh, okay, like I can see how this could be, really, really cool. I had a lot of fun. I had way too much fun with the stupid stand, like getting taking it, putting it in tabletop mode and getting it to like a certain angle. I played that for way longer and got all the medals that I could, because I was like really into that.
Did you do the touch to 10 dots things, like Twister for your fingers?
Yeah, I was able to do like the very first round of that, but that got pretty difficult quickly.
I thought that got difficult too. And I gave it to this one. Like, I'm not lying, it was maybe a minute and a half, and she was like, boom, 10 fingers all done. I was like, how? She was so good at it. So nimble.
Yeah.
So dexterous.
That's me.
I also really liked the one where you just had to move the mouse around and feel where it was vibrating the most.
Oh yeah, I forgot about.
that was
no,
a
that
fun
one. Yeah.
And it was, I like when you got really good at that one. Like when you get close, you'd be like, yeah, like I
yes,
like pretty satisfying stuff simple as they are.
I never got it dead on, but I got it 1 point away.
Yeah.
One is as close as I got, and I was like, oh, right there. I thought you were gonna say the one where you rotate the things to feel the sides, and like you have the silhouettes of what it could be, like a cone or a cube. Or I was like, man, I can't believe like I can figure this out based on that feeling.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, those were cool. You know why I think I was thinking about this when I was playing the angle one, the tabletop with the stand.
Yeah.
I was thinking like this could be like a Price is Right game,
because
of the way it's like you have to get it within 10, but you have 3 tries, so you have to keep each try like adds up, and you want to
really
keep
like
it. I was like, this reminds me of Price is Right.
Then I don't have any factual evidence for this, but that has to be inspired by Miyamoto, because Miyamoto's favorite game in real life apparently is ask people how long something is, and then he takes out his tape measure to find out what it actually is. So he was playing it with like Jimmy Fallon when he was on the Jimmy Fallon show, and he was like, how long is this thing? And they guessed like 12 inches, 14 inches, and Miyamoto takes out the measure and he's like, oh, it's 18.3. And like, so just, but I like that game a lot when it was like, take the dock out and flipped out the kickstand. I was like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. There's a lot of really great technology. I really hope it's utilized, but regardless, it left me, not that I wasn't confident anyway. Like I loved the Switch. They're on a roll. The Switch 2 so far, my experience with it has been amazing. So like, I'm not worried whatsoever. But like I said, learning about the Switch 2 in depth was just like, you know what? There's no reason why this can't last 8 years at least. Like with the way they've been kind of running their business,
let's hope so.
Like I think this is awesome. I'm really, really excited. I'm very positive for the future of the system and what could come to it. So very, very excited. And thanks for listening to me drone on about that. Let me just check my notes, because I did make notes this week. Is there anything that I wanted to say? I said everything I wanted to say. So RMC, please regale us with what you've played.
Thank you for asking. I played Fortnite not as much as usual because it's been a busy week, but I played Fortnite, and now that I know that the hammer's back, I could not be happier. I played a little more Alan Wake. It was probably like an hour and a half, and I didn't really get anywhere. I was just wandering around in where I was last time after going to the lighthouse and like searching around areas just in town. You know, whenever a game tells me go do this, I'm like later, and I just like wandered around and was like snooping through houses and seeing what I could find and stuff like that. So I didn't really like make any story progress. I was just snooping around.
I really regret giving you even a light hard time about starting that game.
Why?
I really wish you hadn't started it.
Why?
Because you got too much going on, man. I'm sorry. Like you're not even. There's one scene in particular in Alan Wake 2 that I'm like dying to talk to you about. I know you haven't gotten there yet, and it's not even that far into the game. And I'm like, and you've just restarted Death Stranding. Like, I'm sorry, you're never gonna finish Alan Wake 2, and I feel bad that I pushed you into it too early. You don't have time for it. I'm sorry.
Why are you saying I don't
You
have time
to retire.
for it? I have time for I don't have enough time for anything. No matter what I want to do, there's not enough time for any of it. I want to watch way more anime. I want to watch way more TV shows. I want to play more games.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not saying like you're not a child. You can handle multiple things at once, but I mean, we're talking Death Stranding and Alan Wake 2. These are like some heavy duty pieces here, and like you're jumping between them. Like, I don't know. Good luck. If you're cool with it, I'm cool with it.
I will tell you, I don't feel any pressure at all if that's what you're worried about.
I'm just worried that like maybe the deeper concern, and this has nothing to do with how much time you have to play, is that you might not like the game as much as I liked it. And obviously that can happen.
Well, I mean, we'll revisit that when I make it further into the game. I mean, like I said, last time I played before this week was the part I felt most confident in the game, where I was really enjoying it, going through the amusement park. That was my favorite part of the game so far. So that's really the last thing that I experienced as far as a set piece. Like I said, this time I was just wandering around and not really doing anything and just shooting a couple things every now and then. But other than that,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe again, this probably has to do with just that, because, you know, Deltarune or 1000 times Resist or whatever, like important games come out and you'll gush for like weeks and weeks, and then this, it's like, I played a little this week. I told them screw off when they said do this, you know, like, which is fine, but
no,
it's
that's
like
what I do in every game.
Yeah,
if a game tells me go here, do this, I'm like, no, I'm
it's
gonna
not
go
even
do this.
it's not that. Obviously it wants you to play however, but like if you were having a ball playing the game, you'd be playing it more, you know what I mean? And you've got other things happening. So I get it.
I mean, I don't do that. I always split up what I'm playing. Like when I made my way, I purposefully took my time with Deltarune. I was playing other things in between Deltarune. Like I did, there were days where I didn't play Deltarune at all because I wanted to savor the experience. So it's not that. So if I'm cutting through everything you're saying, basically you're saying you want me to just play Alan Wake and finish Alan Wake.
No, I'm saying I want you to stop playing Alan Wake and you know, that's it.
So before I wasn't playing Alan Wake, you really wanted me to play it. Now that I'm playing it, you don't want me to play it.
Well, I want you to play it and I want you to like it. The first part you're going to do, the second part I have no control over.
That is correct. And, you know, I want everybody to play everything and like it. And I more often than not do not get that experience. But I just am thankful that people will play the thing. So that's all that really matters. But, so I played that, and as Deux has said, yes, a big surprise. I have, and I mean it seriously, I have gone back in to replay Death Stranding because Death Stranding 2 snuck up on me. I didn't realize we were so close to it launching. I knew it was close, but not as close as I thought. So I was like, well, I could go on YouTube and watch a recap, but I was like, that's really pointless because Kojima's games are so dense and so much of it is story. I don't feel like you can do a fair recap of like 20 hours of story Kojima stuff and then go into the sequel and be okay. I feel like that's not fair and not the right way to do it. I feel like I should bite the bullet and restart the game, which I never do, but I was like, this feels like the right thing to do for Death Stranding. So that is what I have done. I have gone back into Death Stranding. It's all show. I've heard Alan Wake on Switch too. Has alleviated almost all the issues with it on the Switch version. So if you're looking to play it there, it seems like you can play it on Switch too, and it's okay. So I'm replaying Death Stranding. I just got to the part where I'm not going to talk about it a lot because I talked about it years ago. I just got to the part where you get to the one outpost that has the first vehicle that you can ride, but the battery's dead, and you need to build the charger to charge it up. So I just charged it up, and that's what I've done. So I'm probably like 6 hours in because I'm doing like all the side missions and collecting all the packages and all that stuff. So, and rocking my BB and, doing all that. But I feel like, I feel like doing it this way is the right way to do it. Now that I'm like in it, and I'm like, yeah, it was a good idea to replay it rather than try and get Cliff's notes of a Kojima game before I go into the sequel. I feel like that I'd lose so much. It wouldn't be the right thing to do.
Yeah, he's definitely like that. But I have to admit, for as strange as Death Stranding is, I found it to be not as confusing when all said and done.
I said the same thing
as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I remember saying the same thing. I was like, this is very weird and this is very strange, but I actually feel like I understand what's going on here. And
Like
I'm going through those same beats the second time through. So that's good. But like, if I went into the sequel and they were like, the BB and the BT and the blah, 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 and all these weird names that they make up, I'd have to be like pausing it, looking it up on my phone, and be like, oh, okay, I remember this thing.
One thing that I heard about the sequel is that it just kind of continues, and they don't really explain all like the language because it's kind of like you should have played the first one.
Yes. So that's all of this came into my mind. I was like, this is what I should do. I should replay it. So I'm happy I'm replaying it. And I really liked the game the first time, and I'm enjoying it this time. And, I'm playing it on PS5 where I played it on PS4 before, so I don't know if there's a difference, but there's no way in hell I'm spending $10 to do whatever. I don't give a crap about any of that. So I'm just playing the PS4 version. Like I read through I was like, is this included with PlayStation Network? Because I have that, and it's not. And it's $10 for an upgrade. And it was like, I'll say this. It made me irrationally mad. And I was like, why are you going to pay $10 for this? Like, come on, Jesus Christ. But if you did, that's fine. It's your money. Do whatever you want. I'm not doing it.
Does the controller still cry and you have to rock the?
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah.
Well, then you got everything I needed.
So yes, I've been out in the lush greenery, rocking my BB when it got upset, and as the stranding or whatever were chasing me through the.
What a freaking game!
And I also forgot how much I hate. And I hate's a strong word, but I mean it. And you'll know I mean it.
Oh no!
I hate the names. The names are so dumb for characters.
Okay, yeah.
And
Man and
yes,
and
Dead Man, and they all like every phone call. It's not a phone call, but every call they make, it's like, "Hi, it's Dead Man. Hi, it's Hard Man. Hi," and I'm like, and I already know in a new game there's a guy called Tar
I feel like
Man.
that's something you would love.
No, I hate Johnny Silverhand from Cyberpunk. Like, your name shouldn't be what you are. Like, that's if it's Mega Man, that's fine.
Then explain why you're raw meat cowboy.
That's not what I am. I'm not a cowboy at all, for sure. I guess I am technically raw meat, but the names just irk me so much.
Yeah,
Die Hard Man is the name of the guy.
Die Hard Man is, yeah, that's pretty bad.
It's like, here, come in and meet the president. Remember me? I'm Die Hard Man. And I'm like, oh, this name. Yeah, I forgot about this.
That was weird. Yeah.
And
not Quiet. Quiet's from Metal Gear, but the one of the blonde lady, and she's got a name, Fragile or something.
Yes, you're right. Fragile.
Yeah, like that's kind of like, yeah, they're all strange.
Yes,
but I mean,
in a game, well, that's the problem with Kojima. It's even worse because the game is so, not innovative. That's not the word. It's so imaginative and has such grandiose ideas. And then this guy's name is Die Hard Man, and this guy's name is Dead Man. listen, it can be whatever you want it to be for you. For me, it's not funny. It's just bad. I don't think it's stupid funny. I don't think it's dumb funny. I just think it's bad. And it grates on me every time. It's like when I hear most comic book character names where they're like double letters, where it's, of course I can't, like Peter Parker. I'm like, come on. Like, just,
Now you hate alliterative names?
well, so many comic book characters have alliterative names. It drives me nuts.
Kevin
it's a thing.
Cassidy is
Well,
kind
you
of
know.
alliterative. I don't know who
It
that is, but it's just a person I know.
It is, but it's like a thing in comic books. Like they're all that. And come on, I'm having such trouble thinking of bad comic book names, and I hear them all the time. Boy, this point's really falling flat when I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Bucky Barnes.
Bucky Barnes, thank you. Reed Richards, Scott Summers, thank you. Here we go. Like, okay, come on. So it's enough. We don't need it.
Riri
Williams, that's fine.
Okay, that works.
Riri Mega Doodoo. Although Riri, right there, 2 right in a row.
I like Remo Williams myself.
Lois Lane, there's another one. Yep. But I like wrestling. I do love wrestling.
Rhea
I love
Ripley?
wrestling, but I don't like a lot of wrestler names. That's true. Oh, to tell you the truth, I don't really mind wrestler names because nowadays they're just more like regular names. I know Deux prefers the older generation of what I would say are silly names. Like, what are stupid wrestler names right now? Or silly wrestler
Die Hard
names?
Man.
I can't really think. Everybody's got like normal names.
Mhm.
Damian Priest is pretty dumb because it's obvious he's the devil and he's the good guy.
But he's so cool that it like doesn't.
Yeah, like Cody Rhodes isn't a dumb name, and Seth Rollins isn't a dumb. I don't really think Doink the Clown, excellent. Blood Ocean, that's a great name. There's Goldberg and there's Gilbert, 2 great names right there. Yeah, the wrestler names I think are fine now. They may have nicknames that I don't like, but like Seth freaking Rollins, I don't like the freaking. Jake the Snake is a cool name. I can't tell you why, but hi Mars Bar. Jake the Snake is just a cool name.
Well, it rhymes. It's not alliterative.
Yeah, maybe
so
that's it. But it's just a cool name.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
If it was like Drake the Snake, I'd be like, that's a stupid name. Or like,
if it was Johnny the Silverhand, you'd be like, that's so dumb.
I would. But for some reason, Johnny the Silverhand is better to me than Johnny Silverhand. Because Johnny as a name to me, I think it's like, it irks me. Where it's like, you obviously were trying to think of a name and you couldn't come up with anything. So you just went for like Johnny. I'm Johnny, whatever. Who's this? What's it?
I can see that, I guess.
Johnny John Johnson. Now, Marsboro, that is so bad it comes back to good for me. Blake the Snake, I like.
All right.
Jake the Snake, Blake the Drake, Nate the Quake. There was Earthquake. I don't know what his real name was. Maybe it was Nate. Yeah, but here's the big thing about all this. It doesn't matter to me, and I would never not interact with the content because of it. I can think a name is dumb, but I wouldn't be like, that name's so dumb, I'm not engaging with it. That's not the case.
I'm glad.
I have an opinion.
It's good to know that you
Names
have
bother
that because, like, something.
There's nothing wrong with names bothering people. I think there's something wrong with a name bothering someone to the point that they won't even engage with it.
Right.
Unless it was like, try out this awesome thing. It's called like Super Hitler. I'd be like, I don't want to play Super Hitler. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
It was Secret Hitler, and you didn't want to play that either.
I still feel that discomfort in my body when that game comes
Yeah,
out.
I don't know. Like names of games that I find stupid bug me, but it doesn't stop me from playing it. So it's good to know that you have that in you. But then I start to get irrationally mad because it's like he thinks Die Hard Man's stupid, but he loves 1,000 times Resist. Like I love that game, but
I
it's
don't like that
it's
name.
not a great name.
No, it's not at all. I 100% agree.
Well then, all right then.
Yeah, I can recognize a bad. Well, it's not a bad. It's not like a fact. This is a bad name, but I can recognize when there's a name that I don't like, or I think perhaps it's not the best name, or how perhaps the name hinders the reach of whatever it is. But it just bothers me that there are people out there who will see that name and be like, "Not for me." I'm like, "Oh, you're." It makes me very mad. But yes, I can certainly have opinions on names. It's just the name will never stop me from engaging with that. So, Parappa the Rapper, great name. What's wrong with it?
Nothing.
It's Rapper the Rapper, basically, except they put a pun.
Well, that's one of those. Yeah, that's one of those examples where I've heard it so many times over the years that it doesn't feel weird, and I love it. So it's like one of those things. Whereas if it didn't exist and you were reading like, "Hey, what's coming out this week?" and you were like, "A game called Parappa the Rapper," I would have been like,
and that's the other thing that bothers me, because people have things that hit them at a certain age or time where they never thought about any of that because they weren't beaten down by the world or became condescending or whatever. And it was okay because it just happened at that age. But you take the exact same kind of thing and make it happen 10 years later. They're like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. And it's like, it's just because you didn't grow up with it. You didn't think about it when you were a kid because it just existed. But you got older and you got bitter, and now this thing bothers you. It like that drives me absolutely insane. So you're right about Parappa. Parappa sounds normal to us. The Wii sounds normal to us. But there was a time where the Wii wasn't normal and Parappa wasn't normal. So it just shows you. Remember the BK rapper? Yes, I do, Marshborough. So it just goes to show, yeah, there might be things that hit you oddly at the time, but time goes on and they become normal or normalized. So whatever. And then the only other thing I played, as Deux also mentioned, is Deltarune. But I'm very sad to report that since the last time I played it, it is over. Deltarune Chapter 4 is over. And as I wrote on Patreon, my life has no meaning or purpose anymore because now I have to wait until sometime in 2026 for Chapter 5. Who knows when? I'm hoping early. It will probably be late. I don't want it rushed. That's all that matters. I'm sure there's a chance it could get delayed. But just so much to say about that game. I'm going to say, 2 solid days texting with my one cousin who has played Chapter 3 and 4 as well. I have 2 other cousins who are going to play. They played 1 and 2. They just are waiting for our vacation to play 3 and 4. But I spent 2 solid days talking to a cousin about Chapters 3 and 4 and just being enamored with every facet of those chapters and the story beats of the chapters and the characters and the gameplay mechanics and the developer, Toby Fox, and how all of it comes together and the secrets and the Easter eggs and the attention to detail. Like, we could dissect and examine and every which way all of this stuff in Chapter 3 and 4, and we could never even scratch the surface. And how, as I said last week, these things come to be and exist, I can't wrap my head around it. Toby Fox, again, for my money, is far and away the most unique, innovative, creative, outside the box thinking game developer, hands down. No one matches him, in my opinion. They don't even come close. Hideo Kojima is a great mind and an amazing developer and thinks in all kinds of strange, unique ways and is certainly unbelievable. But he is like I can't say it. I can't explain it enough or as with as much passion as I want without sounding like hyperbole. So I'll go right for the hyperbole. Like, Kojima is garbage compared to Toby Fox to me. Like, they're just on completely different levels, and there's no comparison between the two.
Garbage? Come on, man.
That's why I said I'm speaking in hyperbole, because that's the best way I can emphasize the gap between the two that I see. I do not think Hideo Kojima is garbage at all. I think he's one of the best game creators out there. I think he's one of the most innovative and interesting creators in any form of entertainment. But him compared to Toby Fox, he doesn't hold a candle to Toby Fox. I don't know anybody who does, really, at all. And it has nothing to do with Toby being a solo developer. It's just, when you see and experience what these games are really doing, it's incredible. Like I said, this text thread between me and my cousin, it goes on and on and on and on. Whoa, because we're just, I don't understand the man. I don't understand how he thinks. And you get why he's like, companies are like, let's make this a movie. Let's do an animated movie. And he's like, no, I don't want to do that. Because he's like, if he doesn't say that to them, but you have to you have to figure he's thinking, if you think this could be made into a movie, then you don't understand why it's a game. Like, you don't get it at all. It'd be like saying, let's make a human, but we don't need the heart, and we don't need the eyes, and we don't need the. It's like you don't understand what makes this what it is, and how it's meant to be perceived, and what goes into the experience, because you can't just make it a movie or a cartoon or a novelization or any, because that rips out parts of what makes it what it is and how it's meant to be experienced. So Kojima is very, like, for as interesting and unique and innovative and weird as Kojima is, he very much works within the confines of traditional games and traditional cinema. Toby Fox does not do that. Toby Fox is out of the box with everything that he does.
Toby Fox is out of the box.
And it's just baffling to me that someone like this exists. And obviously he has his followers, and YouTube is full of people who make multi-part series of analyzing everything and breaking down everything. And is it right, or is there... Here's the best thing I can... Toby Fox's equivalent to me is David Lynch. That's as close as you're going to get. And I think there's miles between the two of them, not better or worse, but just in the way they did things. But Lynch and Fox they share a lot of things in how they operate. Now, I think Lynch, as far as a person goes, was the much stranger person. I think Fox, for lack of a better term, or a more elegant term, is more normal. But as far as how they go when they create and the approach they take when they create things, I think Lynch and Fox share a ton in common. You would never look at the things that they make and be like, this was inspired by David Lynch, because that's not how I mean it. But just in the way that they think about things and the way that they create things, Lynch and Fox are, Lynch is to movies and TV as Fox is to games. That's how I do. That's my SAT question and answer. So yeah, it's a real bummer because it's over, and I could replay those games forever and never see half of what's in them, or half of the interactions or the things there are to experience. And they can be, I'm laughing at your GIF, Drake. I could endlessly analyze and dig into them, and I've spent so much time watching YouTube things about them, and I love all that stuff, because everybody's YouTube thing that I watch, which has like millions of views or hundreds of thousands of views, I'm like, look at this, I never saw this, I would have never thought of this, look at how this ties into this is crazy stuff. Like Toby Fox just did a very small interview where he was asked about what it's like making these, and it's like, I've done 4 chapters of Deltarune so far, and this is like making like more than 2.5 Undertales, and it's a lot. He's like, it's a lot, and they would be a lot for any regular game, but you're like, yeah, knowing what you put into these games, I can't imagine. Like I said last week, the Bible that he has for these things has to be ginormous. So I'm not going to go on, and I want to talk about it way more, but I'm not going to do that. I find them amazing. I'm in that rut of after that, nothing's going to hold a candle to them. So I'll climb my way out of there eventually. And last week, I didn't mention the music at all. I could drone on and on about the music, but I don't need to tell you, Toby Fox is an amazing composer. The fact that he does the music alongside creating the games in general makes it a whole nother level of mind-boggling. Soundtracks in 3 and 4 are unbelievable. He does some time signatures that I've never heard him work in before, and dances between different time signatures within songs. And there's even one song in particular that has a very interesting time signature, and that gets remixed later with a completely different time signature that thematically ties into what's going on. And I'm like, this guy's thinking of stuff. I don't know how you do this. But if you have no interest in Toby Fox's games and you don't want to play Undertale or Deltarune, go listen to the soundtracks, because I'm sure you could appreciate the music no matter what. So they're all free to stream on Toby Fox's Bandcamp page. Go listen to them there, or go to YouTube where everybody's uploaded them anyway. I think Toby's got them on YouTube too. But Chapter 3 and 4 soundtracks, full of bangers all over again. Great, great, great stuff. Serious, fun, funny, dance, all good stuff. So yeah, they're over. Very happy I played them on Switch too. these were the first Deltarune chapters that I sat down and played in front of a TV. I played the other ones on my computer. So this was very nice. And that's all I got to say about that. And games are over because Deltarune's over. All right, let's do questions. Send your questions to GoNintpod@gmail.com.
Where?
GoNintpod@gmail.com.
Maybe I will.
They can be about Nintendo video games in general or whatever the hell you want. Gybones has a question. Thank you for the questions in the old questions email. I appreciate it. There's a good amount in there. We can always use more, but thank you. Thank you. Gybones asks, I think people are often too modest or think it looks bad if they speak well about themselves. I know I feel this way. That was a quote from me, Armsy. What is a compliment you received recently that made you feel all warm and nice, big or small? Last week, someone said that I have the thickest mustache they have ever seen, and I love it. That is very nice. Well, MomBrain and Deux, can you think of a compliment you received recently that made you feel all warm and nice?
MomBrain gave me one just today. She saw me
true.
and she said that she had missed me and that it was a long time since she had seen me, and that made me feel really nice.
It's true.
That's true.
It's true.
MomBrain, I'm sure in MomBrain, you got to receive compliments all the time. Compliments for your work, compliments for your fight for what's right, compliments for your personality. Come on. Come on.
Two things. One, it is always incredible to hear from students, parents, and colleagues to hear a compliment from them because, that's really important to me. And those are important voices to hear. They're the ones I care about. So like at the end of the school year, if I get a really nice note from a parent thanking me and complimenting, I take that as a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually was just visiting my family in Florida, and my uncle, Jim, I went to visit him at his house, and he sent me a text and was like, it really just means so much to me that you took the time to stop by and visit. And, I love you so much. And it was just such a lovely thing. And that really meant a lot, to hear from him that it meant a lot to him. So, I guess none of us tend to take anybody complimenting our physical appearance. We're like, oh no, you don't, I don't know. You just don't.
Yeah. We're all very self-deprecating.
Yeah. So, for me, I also think it's really meaningful when someone says something about you as a human as opposed to how you look. I mean, it's nice to hear, but and I also think it's really important that you say that stuff when you think it, because you're sometimes it's oh, I like that person's hair, and it's I shouldn't say anything, and then
I say that to you a lot. We'll be out somewhere and I'm like, oh my god, I really like her hair. I'm like, can I say that to
if
her,
it's a
Mom?
girl, yeah, you're always I don't want to freak a girl out or whatever, and I get that.
And then I'm like, I like your hair. Can I smell it? And Mom Ray's like, no, you took it too far.
Took it too far. Here's a rule. You can't say
What
that.
rules, you sons of bitches?
Nice. What about you, RMC?
I mean, I hear nice stuff about the site all the time, which is always very appreciated. People always have very nice things to say about the work that I do or the podcast in general, or just the comforting feeling of being there. So I'm very lucky to hear that kind of praise and compliment. So I don't ever feel like MomBrain's saying, I don't ever feel worthy of it, but it is still nice to hear all together, and I hear it pretty frequently. So that is very nice, and I don't take it lightly. And sometimes it's just the nice little boost that I need on an extra crappy day. So that is always well received and never overlooked, and always very meaningful. So thank you. Outside of that, I'm trying to think of real life interactions. I mean, it happens. Obviously, it happens. But the one that just sticks out to me the most, and it was years ago now, is that cashier at Target that was crying, and we didn't know why she was crying, and we bought her a Starbucks gift card just because she was going through something. We don't know what, and like, what did we do? We went back around and bought it for her.
Yeah, it was in a Target, so it was like you did the checkout, and then after the checkout, there was a Starbucks.
So she
and
was
we were
like crying,
I was like,
and
we
we
should
were
get
like,
her like a
we should
frappuccino or
do
something. And then it was like she probably can't have it while she's working.
So we went and got her a gift card and got back, and she was like, "Oh, like we were like, oh, we're not getting anything. We got you a card because."
Yeah, she thought we were
Seemed
coming
like-
back to complain
Yeah.
that like she had
Aw.
like.
And
you
she's
know.
like, "Thank you so much. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever done." And we were like, "No, of course." And like we saw you were upset, and it was just a really nice interaction. I obviously want to know what she was crying about, but we didn't ask
She
her.
found out from her doctor that day that she's allergic to coffee.
That's
I said that to MomBrain when we were buying the car. Well, MomBrain said, "Let's get her a coffee," and I was like, "She might not like coffee. If we get her a gift card, she could get like a sandwich or one of the pastries, or like there's different options there, or some kind of like a water or something." I was like, "We're hedging our bets on that." So, but that always stuck with me. So there you go. Patreon question, MomBrain. Did you know that you can join the Patreon?
Oh,
For $1.
For $1. Wiired did, and they asked this. They actually asked 2 questions. I'll save the second for next week. You guys are beacons of goodness and light. Thank you very much. Have you ever not done something because of shyness or lack of confidence and then regretted not doing it afterwards? For me, Wiired says, it was not attending the GoNintendo 100th episode party. I lived in Cherry Hill at the time.
man.
And the event at Dave & Buster's was so close by, but I was 30 years old back then, and I felt shy and awkward about my age. Well, don't worry, because we did another. Oh, we never did another. I'm sorry, Wiierd. I'm sorry,
Never will.
but I get that feeling. MomBrain gets that feeling all the time.
Yeah.
We had a chance to go meet Jeff Hardy, her favorite wrestler, and she chickened out.
I'm still glad I didn't. Now the one time we ended up in an elevator with Bill Nye the Science Guy, and I like
literally us and him.
Unbelievable.
and I like turned my back to Bill and I looked at Raw Meat and I mouthed like, "That's effing Bill Nye." And I didn't, it was, clear that he was, we were in the city. He was like doing something and we just happened to be together in the
We
elevator.
were at some building
We
for
were
a
at a
Nintendo
Nintendo
press
event.
event, and he was on the floor below us. So I don't know what was going on there, but we got in the elevator together, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
And we like walked away, and Ramit was like, "You're really not gonna like say
I
hello?
was like, you're a teacher.
Like, you're really not going to?" And I was like, "Fuck, you're right." And I turned around and I was like, "Mr. Nye," and he was like, "You want a picture?"
I
And I
chased him
was
down
like,
the street.
I was like, "I do. Please, I'm a teacher, and I just really love your work." And I'm glad that you convinced me to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you can't pass it up, because of your profession in particular. You have to. There's been moments where I've been shy and regretted it, but of course I can't think of any at the moment. There's been people I wanted to like go say hi to, all entertainment people, but I just didn't. And I've moved away from that recently. Like, I'll make a point to, if there's someone I wanna like, if there's someone I'm appreciative of their work, I will make a point to go say something to them. But I won't be like, "Can I have a picture? Can I have an autograph?" I'll just be like, "Hey, I just really want you to know that what you did meant something to me, and I really appreciate it. And like, I'm sure you've heard it a million times, but it's important to me to say that you were part of something that really meant something to me." So I make a point to do that stuff.
So I guess Louis Anderson wasn't important enough.
Well,
to
that
you?
was old me. Like, I would now, if he were still with us, I would definitely say something. I don't know. It's not like he was formative for me or anything, but like he, I legitimately thought he was funny. There was something I would say that would be kind to him, certainly. Yeah. But back then, no, I felt differently. I'd be like, I don't want to bother him. I don't want to make it awkward. I don't want to, all that stuff. But yeah, nowadays I would. And my holy grail is.
I know.
Danielle Fishel.
That is correct.
I didn't know.
Who would you say?
I thought it was wasn't Captain Lou Albano? Couldn't you? You didn't go.
No, we met him.
did.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you had a Mr. T story kind of like
Mhm.
him.
Yeah, we met him, talked to him. We're in pictures with him. Yeah. The only thing that's kind of close to that is I was at an E3 And it's funny. This is really funny. My old Nintendo rep, today is her birthday. I was just talking to her right now at an old E3 a billion years ago. Thank God Nicky Hill's not here because it wasn't a billion years ago. I came off the floor to do some work, and my rep was sitting at a table having lunch. And I was like, "Can I sit with you?" She's like, "Yeah, come on over." So it was me, my rep, and somebody else from Nintendo that I knew. And I was sitting down, like doing work, eating pizza. And I was like, "How's the show going for you? Because I know it sucks, and you got to run back and forth between booths." And she's like, "Yeah, it's a nightmare. Plus, one of the booths had this huge line for some people." And I was like, "Oh, who was it?" She goes, "I don't know." And she goes, "Wait, aren't you into wrestling?" And I was like, "Yes." Who was it? And she goes, I don't know who they were, but I was like, "How many people was it?" She goes, "2 people." And I go, "Oh, was one of them wearing a cowboy hat?" And she goes, "Yeah, one had a cowboy hat." And she goes, "I think the other was wearing a crown." I was like, "Oh my God." So it was JR and the King, who were the commentators at the time. I was like, 2 people I want to meet more than any others. And I was like, and she looked at me and she goes, "Do you want me to watch your stuff?" And I was like, "Yes, thank you." And I got up from the table and ran. I booked it to the floor, and they had just left.
No.
Literally, like they had like the doors were closing for them to walk back.
Oh no.
And the booth attendee was like, "Oh, they just left." I was like, "Are they coming back?" And she said, "No, they're not. That was it for today." I was like, "Are they going to be here for the rest of the week?" And she said, "No, they're not." And I was like, and I walked back to the table to get my stuff and get back to work. And the rep just looked at my face and she was like,
Aw.
"You missed them, didn't you?" And I was like, "I did, and they're not coming back." And she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." She's like, "If I only told you sooner, she said something like, "If I only knew more about wrestling." I was like, "That's very nice of you to say, but it's okay." So there was that moment.
You did meet the king
Later with you, yeah. And MomBrain had a very tough time talking to him.
That's the problem. Is I like can't express enough.
What can you say
Yeah.
to royalty?
Yeah.
A lot of protocol.
But yeah, I've been much better about meeting. I'll just say celebrities. I've been much better about meeting them because I'm like much more calm and I've thought it out. And sure, there's a little nervous, jittery energy still, but I'd be able to handle it much better now, just because I'm coming from a place of really appreciating what they're doing. Like if I could meet a wrestler now, like if I could meet Cody Rhodes or something like that, I'd be very, very excited, but I know I could handle it better. But Danielle Fishel would be the one where I still think I would have trouble because obviously
have a crush on her too.
Yes, that's the thing. Like she sees me, she can see my age. She knows I watched the show. She can probably surmise that I had a crush on her, like every other guy that's met her that's my age. So I want to make it more than that, but I can't be like, "I thought your acting was amazing." Like there are parts of Boy Meets World that were formative for me for how I feel about things, certainly, because that show had emotional aspects to it and relationship aspects that I appreciated.
Yeah.
And at that age, I hadn't experienced any of that stuff. So yes, there's things that were formative for me, certainly. But also, I thought she was really attractive, obviously. And I still do, and I still see that in her. So of course, like, and she knows that. So, but I got the other end of being like, I can't tell you how great it is that I know you're a wrestling fan, because that makes it even better. So but I know I'd probably like lose my mind. I would absolutely lose my mind. I'm still very jealous of one of our friends who randomly bumped into her at an event. One day our paths will cross. But yeah, I'm trying to think of instances where I chickened out or had the lack of confidence. And again, it has happened. Nothing's coming to mind, but we've all had those moments. And I think as time goes on, you start to get like, it's really not that big of a deal. It's still a big deal to meet them, but it's not that big of a deal to like just go and say hi. It's okay. As long as you're nice and respectful, it's okay. And like I said, I'm not going to accost them for a picture or an autograph. It's more about the interaction. And then at the end, I'd be like, maybe like, is it okay if we get a picture or something like that? I don't know. That's that. Any other stories from you two about any of that?
I regret not doing that Mario Kart Double Dash tournament with you. I mean, I chickened out of that. I was too too scared to.
And you would have
To
wiped the
enter.
floor with them.
Well, we would have had to play together,
Yeah.
and that was part of why I was nervous to do it. But to be honest, looking back, I regret it because I think it would have been fun trying to play, because I never really tried to play 2-player on the same
Yeah.
cart,
Yeah.
which was a feature, and I think it would have been fun to do it, and I think we would have been awesome too.
I think we would have done really well. Yeah. I'm still amazed that like that stuff still makes me nervous going into tournaments, even if it was just local stuff. But like doing the Smash, we did multiple Smash Brothers tournaments, and I was very nervous about them. But
So like if
Had
you were
fun.
nervous about them, like we didn't stand a chance.
Yeah.
So
But like my thing with Donkey Kong or with Mario Kart was like I was so confident in Deux Diddy Kong that I was like, nobody's gonna stand a chance here. Like with the big banana and his abilities, forget it. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
over.
got the big banana.
Because I had raced against him many a time, and I was like, he's something about the way
I
he
was so
takes care of
good
that
at
banana peel. I don't know. It's just he sees it and he sees the matrix on that. one.
Paratroopa and Diddy Kong, so that you could have the small blue cart. You needed that tiny blue cart, and dude, when you were not in first, the Paratroopa would get the 3 red shells, and you could just take people out. And when you were in first, Diddy would get the big banana, and you go over jumps, and you drop the big banana right where you're gonna drop. There's nobody can do it. You're going, you hit a jump, and you see that big banana. You
You're
can't
screwed.
you can't
Yeah.
get out of there.
You're screwed. I
And then
did it
when
many
somebody
times.
hits it, it breaks up into 3 little bananas. Oh my
Yep.
god! What a game!
What an innovation.
What a game!
Ice Dilbert, I see your pizza in the Discord, and I've been wanting to try it. Yes, except I don't eat meat, but I would make an exception. Ice Dilbert has a picture of the 2 new Tombstone pizzas. They have French fry based crust. It's bacon cheddar pizza and chili cheese pizza. I'm not really a chili cheese person. Bacon cheddar I could definitely do. I used to love bacon, so I could make one exception and try that. And a French fry crust, I don't know what to expect from that, but I want to try it. Thank you for your questions. Hi, Darmani, if I didn't say that already. Let's do music.
I'm interested in this.
I am interested. I
Sorry,
mean,
that
it's
was
pizza. I'm always interested in pizza. I got music. You want to hear it? You want to hear it? Oh. Send your music to GoNinPod@gmail.com.
Where?
GoNinPod@gmail.com. Put music in the title. Help out your local mom brain.
Do may I please have the plug?
Sure.
Oh, I thank you. Much appreciated. Okay. The first song of the week comes from Mikey3319, but
Thank
it
you,
also
Mikey.
it also comes with a little message.
Okay.
Mikey says
He likes it.
I'm gonna censor a little bit of it because it wasn't like he was like, tell everybody this. So I'm just gonna kind of give the Cliff's Notes version.
Is this a serious thing?
Yeah.
Okay, then I won't joke.
Wanted to let you know your escape from reality. The joy and happiness you bring to me and others in the GoNintendo family is unreal, and I have to thank you all again. Don't ever stop what you do for your listeners and fans. Everyone's going through something. You're here to help us.
Today's our last show.
So I think that's what we could call a compliment.
That is one. And what did I do right after?
Hey.
Make a joke. So
Yep.
there you go.
Yep.
We feel uncomfortable with
We are happy to
compliments.
provide you some source of calm or reprieve or whatever from the struggles of daily life,
And
as
I
we're all feeling. Last night, I won't go into details, but I didn't look at any news yesterday because we were with family the whole time. I did my news recap at the end of the day. I was livid. I knew stuff went down, but I didn't look into the specifics. I got the specifics last night. I was ready to like punch through the front of the treadmill. I was like unbelievably sad and unbelievably angry, where I was like, I don't know what to do with myself right now, but I watched Squid Game and watched people get killed, and I was like, all right.
I'm gonna have to try that.
And
I haven't
that's
watched the
the
new
truth.
season yet.
There you go.
I had 20 minutes of news and then an hour of Squid Game right after, and I was still angry afterwards, but I was like, at least Squid Game is about in part some of the same stuff. So I was like,
Right.
okay.
And I think I speak for all of us when I say that the same goes for us, right? This
Yes.
gives us all an opportunity to just focus on
Relax.
one thing that
Don't
brings
matter.
us happiness, and like, we can all be together, and I don't know. I think that's a nice thing.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So here is one from Mikey3319. I'm sorry.
What happened?
I muted it.
Oh, wow. Now that we got this, it's either, I'm going to say it's N64 because of the quality.
I believe it is.
It's just that drum and bass. That was right when it started getting big. What game? No idea.
What game could it be? What kind of a game could it be?
So drum and bass soundtracks like this, I would go with racing or puzzle.
Puzzle.
Tetris Sphere has a drum and bass soundtrack. It's not that.
It is Tetris.
Oh. Well, I shouldn't have said that. Okay. I don't remember what Tetris is on the 64. Was there the new Tetris?
That is not this.
Is it a licensed Tetris?
Yes,
It's not Pokemon licensed.
it is not.
Okay, so it's Disney,
Yep.
but I don't know the name. I remember, I want to say like Pete's on the cover.
Yeah.
Not
And
handsome.
he's not like front and center.
Yeah, I don't. I remember seeing it for rent. It's Disney Tetris, but I don't know what it's called. Can I get the point for that?
Yes.
Okay.
We got there. Nicky, always speak your name. It was Magical Tetris Challenge on the
There's
64.
Pete. That
Yeah.
son of a bitch.
All right. This one is from
The dark days of the N64 when there weren't like a lot of things to play, and every time I would go rent something, I'd be like, maybe this Tetris game. Never did it.
This one's from Nico Darunia.
How could it be bad?
It's a great question. Mother 3.
It is Mother.
I know that. Whatever instrument you want to call that. I know that. Anything.
Now you know all these because you listen to video game music all the time, all day
Well, I
long.
played Mother 3.
I
Not
know
all the
you
way,
do, but like you've only played all these games once, so like it's because you listen most
I'm
of
sure
the
that-
time. It's because you're listening on your computer, right? All day long.
Every day I listen to game music without a doubt. Not a day goes by where I'm not. I'll listen to regular music too, but there's game music throughout the day. Yeah. To be fair, or to be honest, the Mother 3 soundtrack I don't really listen to a lot because I don't think there's a lot of great songs in it. There's some that are excellent, but there's a lot that I'm like, they're all right. But just that instrument is in like the majority of the songs on that. So that instrument to me is, I can't name another game that has that instrument. It just sounds like Mother to me.
This one's from Knock on Wood.
There's one song in Mother 3 that makes me cry, and I didn't even know what was going on in the story at the time.
Even I know this, but what do I know it from?
Well, it's Donkey Kong, but it's not Donkey Kong.
Then maybe I don't know it.
And it's got to be Game Boy Color.
It is Game Boy Color.
All right, so it's got Donkey Kong in it, but it's not a Donkey Kong game, right?
It is not a Donkey Kong game, but it is a Donkey Kong,
Game,
I'm assuming.
Game and
level.
Watch collection.
No,
None of them.
that's correct.
So that leaves sports. Okay, that doesn't leave sports.
Yeah.
Oh, it leaves sports. Okay. On the Game Boy Color? I'll leave the choice up to you. It's going to be one of these two because I can only think of two. It's tennis or golf. I don't know.
Let's
You
do
go.
tennis then.
You're right.
Hey, we got there.
Mario Tennis on the Game Boy Color from Knock on Wood. Here's a song.
Tennis, golf. That's it. Yeah, I can't think of another sports game on the Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
Or Mario.
From Geku Kitsune.
I know this. Super Nintendo.
Yep.
It's Kirby?
Yeah.
Kirby Dream Course.
Yep.
Great game.
Unbelievable.
Great game.
Now, if you could only remember where you put your sweatshirt, or
That's not important. I need to remember the Kirby games.
Okay.
That Kirby game's fun.
So-
I wish they made a sequel to that. Wish they made a sequel to Kirby Tilt and Tumble too. Did they?
Okay.
Well, with all the
Losing it.
technology and the Switch 2, imagine
It's right there.
what tilt
It's
and
right
tumble
there.
they can do.
This one's from Steve Irwin.
That was a
R.I.P.
nice rhyme. Well, this also feels like 2000s era. Maybe a little later. I don't know what system this is. GameCube? Wii?
Wii.
So yeah, in that vibe, but I got
Art, style, light tracks.
No.
it's not first party. Is this Capcom
I don't know.
or
but
Konami? That noise feels like a lesser Capcom to me. Or Konami. I like it.
I'll look it up.
Here, just go to the official wiki page, and on the right it will tell you. I'm very nostalgic for that era of music. I listen to a lot of it
Like an
lately.
era in our life that was like.
Not, I mean, yes, but there's just something about that kind of music.
It is Konami.
Konami on the Wii? Ay, ay, ay. It's going to be some licensing that I'll never guess the name of. Something. It'll be not Yu-Gi-Oh, but it looks
It
like
is
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, that's all Konami did back
It
then.
is Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, it is Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah.
I got no chance of guessing it. It's going to be some weird-ass name. And it's not going to say cards. It's some weird-ass Yu-Gi-Oh spinoff. I don't know.
That's the name.
I'll take a 0.5 on that one.
Whatever you say, dear.
You're the arbiter. Does that feel fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, Steve Irwin RIP says, I found the song randomly on Twitter and I absolutely love it. I
It's a great
have
song.
never and will never play this game, and I would never have expected the soundtrack to be as good as it is. What a lovely surprise.
I'm gonna have to listen to this soundtrack. Yeah, I like this.
It is Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's Wheelie Breakers.
Yeah, see,
Of course.
never ever. I don't remember what game it was, but I went to an E3 where somebody was doing a Yu-Gi-Oh game on the DS. I believe it was a DS, and it was a spin-off game that like nobody knew anything about or cared about, and they had the world's saddest booth attendee, and it wasn't like, you know, somebody they hired just to be there. It was like a Konami employee, because no one was touching his game, and he looked so sad that no one would play this that I felt so bad that I went over and I was like, I inched near it, and he's like, do you want to play the, and I was like, yeah. And like I stood there and was trying to play, and he's like, this is a spin-off of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where Yu-Gi-Oh! Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, he knew everything. And I'm like, I don't know what this man is saying. And I like spent 15 minutes playing it, and I like it got to the end of the demo screen. He's like, what'd you think? The game was horrible. And I was like, I don't know much about Yu-Gi-Oh, but I'm sure fans will like it. And he's like, that's what we're hoping to. And I was like, oh, thank God I said the right thing. And I like ran away after that.
Oh, dear.
But
Too
you know,
nice.
He probably talks about that compliment
right?
now.
He's like, I don't know why the game failed. That one guy said it was going to be a
He said
hit.
it was a good one. It was good for fans.
Yeah,
He's listening to that drum and bass track
Right.
right now.
Oh,
tear down
no.
his cheek.
Okay, this one comes from Radical Defect / Master Higgins.
Why all these songs are fitting in with that era?
Cumulative, keeping score. Thank you.
I'm gonna go. It's very good quality, but I'm gonna go 64.
It is.
So then that really narrows it down. And I'm going to go to where I always go because it's not first party. Right?
I'm pretty sure it's not first party.
And I'm going to go. Okay. I have one go-to when it's not first party for good music. Really?
It is
like
not first
this.
party.
Then I'm going to go Bomberman.
That's correct.
That's the only one I got. If it's not Bomberman, I don't know what else it is.
Yeah, Bomberman 64.
I don't know what Konami did. Man, from one Konami to another, I just realized that. Or Hudson. It was Hudson back then. I don't know what magic they worked on the 64, but they figured out Nintendo's special sauce and got good music on that system. Snowboard Kids. That's the other one I would have guessed. Next song is Snowboard Kids.
This one's from Blood Ocean 07.
This has to be about island life, vacation life.
What system is it?
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it sounds like something from that era again. And this sounds really high quality, but simple. So it's early GameCube or late-ish 64. I don't know, but I'm confident it's one of those. I'm gonna go
64.
Okay. It's so high quality. So I just screwed myself because I said Bomberman or Snowboard Kids, and it's not Snowboard Kids. So is this first party?
Yes.
Well, if I don't know it, then it's gonna be Pokemon.
Yes.
What we got? Pokemon Stadium.
No.
Pokemon. Hey You Pikachu.
No.
Pokemon Tetris.
No.
Pokemon Snap.
Yes.
Good, because I was running out.
It was Pokemon Snap. Apparently, you're snapping photos on the beach.
I played that. I played it on a virtual console, but I don't remember any of the music.
Okay. We've got... So sorry.
It's okay. You only had all show to prepare this.
That's right. This one's from Zartan 86. It's coming.
This is another one I know. This is first party?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what this is. It's Wii U game, right?
Yeah.
NES remix.
That's right.
Really like that. I wish they'd do another one of those. That was a lot of fun. For Wii U.
So
Poor Wiggum.
We hardly knew you.
I have one more.
That's what my numbers say.
Okay. Then Let It Be. Pardon me. Just a moment.
Am I wrong? Do we have two more?
Uh-oh.
You do. Don't you worry about it.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Just give me
1, 2,
moment.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Two more. Yes, we need two more. Okay.
Oh dear.
My bladder is gonna fall out of my body.
Oh, I'm so
So go.
sorry.
It's okay.
Go ahead. Go.
This is the best part of the show. I
Oh.
can't.
Okay, this
MomBrain, what's going on here?
comes to us from Robert.
This vamping. MomBrain.
It's coming.
Oh my
It's
god.
not me. It's thinking.
Super Nintendo.
Yes, it is. Sorry, it's.
I'm
was
telling
in a
you.
Okay,
MomBrain, what is happening?
it's all falling apart.
Well, I don't know what it is, but I can tell you it's Super Nintendo. And I would bet that it's European. But what game, I do not know. I got nothing.
We get enough?
Yeah.
All right, it is Turrican 2.
It's European.
Yeah.
Sorry for the European.
Yes. Okay. So we have one left.
Yes.
And this last song
That I'm choosing right now.
comes
In
to
the
us
email.
from Travis Z.
Mm.
And it's Travis's favorite part of the podcast.
Z Travis. Z.
Oh, I know this. What do I know this from?
You do.
This is like it's definitely from the Wii, right? It's like
Nope.
It's not.
Much newer. Boogie, 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 boogie.
How the hell do
boogie,
I know
boogie,
it then?
Boogie, boogie, boogie. Because you own it.
I know it so well. Like I just can't think of what game it is. So you're saying this is on the Switch?
Nope.
Wii U?
This is, if you can figure this out, this is key to getting it.
This isn't a handheld system.
No.
I said Wii, and
I
you
heard-
said no.
that is
I said
correct.
Wii U, you said no. I
That
said
is correct.
Switch, you said no.
That is correct.
But you said it was after the Wii.
I didn't say that. I said it's modern, but it is after the Wii. Sure. Gotta put the pieces of the puzzle together.
What's the puzzle?
Figuring out why you've named Nintendo systems and it's not working for you. I mean, I could just tell you the answer if you want me to. I don't know if you want to play or not.
The answer of the don't
I
tell
can
me
tell
the
you.
game. Tell me what the answer of the system is.
I can't do that.
You just said you could.
I mean, like, yeah, I could just end it right now.
You know,
Yeah, I can't.
Because I would have said like everybody votes or something, but that's on the Wii.
I understand.
I'm confused.
I know you are. I can't tell you. That's the whole point. Is I can't tell you.
I mean, you're kind of in the right neighborhood with everybody votes.
No, don't listen to her. You're wrong.
Oh, but I know this. Yeah, I know it. I used to play whatever it is every single day, whatever it is.
Played it a lot. Yeah.
Is it an app or something?
No.
Then why don't I know it? Why haven't I said whatever it is? It's not a handheld.
It's not a handheld system.
And I said all of the from the Wii on.
You did. You are correct. Yes.
So you gotta say what it is.
If I say what it is, then it's over.
So the system and the game are the same name.
Yes.
I used to play this every day, whatever it is. I used to hear it every day. So just
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like I can't give you any more hints. Like it's either I tell you the answer or you keep guessing.
and it's not an app.
It's not an app.
Think of a system that you played every day or close to every day.
A system that I played close to every day. That's not a handheld system. And it's not a Nintendo system.
Well, it's a Nintendo system, yeah.
Oh man. I'm gonna kick myself when I finally hear whatever it is, because
You are. yeah.
I know it. I know it. I recognize it. What is it?
You're officially out.
I'm officially out.
It's the Super Nintendo Classic.
Oh, okay. For choosing a game in
Yes,
the
menu.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, that makes me feel better because I was.
Because it's not from a game; it's the menu of the
Yeah.
system. Yeah.
But man, that was driving me crazy.
So by my tally, we got 8.5.
6 out of 9.
6 out of 9.
We'll take
That's what I
it.
mean. And yes, you're right. You would play a game or whatever, and then you'd go back to that menu and probably go to the
I
bathroom
heard
or
it a
get something to
million
eat,
times.
sit there.
I
yeah.
heard it a million times because I was really there was like a few months where I was really into that system.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, bummer. But
It's a shame that's the note we have to end the show on.
Yeah. Well, I
Oh,
mean, we got the
God.
point, but he just.
I got
so difficult.
I got some views here.
What?
What do you mean?
Deux views.
Oh.
It's never news. Rumor of the week with Deux Michaels. So, ladies and gentlemen,
This
is all
wow.
very
Another
exciting.
amazing graphic from MomBrain. I thought it was starring, by the way. I know. I see.
The spider took care
I
of it.
see that. Yeah.
man. I like how small the spiders are and how big the fly is. And he's got like a little Sherlock hat on.
Yeah, and glasses.
So
Hi, White Lines. Good to see you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as you might know, I have spiders and flies that creep and crawl and fly all over the video game world, on the internet and in the real world, and they could be listening in a big board meeting right now. We just don't know. But the point is, they always come back to me and they give me video game rumors. So whatever they hear, they give to me, and then I tell everybody what the rumors are, and we all have a really great laugh about how these could be real. So without further ado, actually, there's one more ado to further. It says here that instead of a rumor, we've got an actual true news story here.
God.
Oh, wow.
What an occasion. And MomBrain, you're back for it. Wow.
This is
lucky.
amazing. This is amazing. I don't know how it happened. And once you hear what it is, you're going to be like, okay, this was not a waste of time at all listening to this. So we talked earlier about there's a new Bubble Bobble game confirmed. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. And we were getting kind of deep into it because there's a lot of lore with Bubble Bobble.
Hi, Freddy Fro.
And we were just curious who was going to be confirmed for the new game. It looks like Bub is in the new game. According to the Spiders and Flies, Bob is kidnapped in the game. Bub has to help him, and he's got a new companion named Bull. Bubble and Bobble. So the Bull brothers, there's two of them because Bub and Bob, and they have to. So the Bull brothers, as they're called, are going to help Bub get through the game and save Bob.
Do we know if this is Bull from Night Court?
One of them looks strangely like Bull from Night Court. Yes.
Man, that's great. Glad to see him getting some work again. That's really good.
Yeah, it's pronounced Bull, but it's spelled BLE, like, obviously.
Yeah. Bub and Bob.
Yeah.
Great names.
So
it only makes sense that there's a Bull, and I'm happy they're doing the Bull brothers. So that's great.
Yeah, they wanted to do something along the lines of they were fine. They're fine with it, actually. It's all good. I was trying to tie in Zitz and Ray and the other, and like the
Pimple, Zitz, and Ray.
The frogs, the
Pimple,
Battletoads.
Zitz, Ray, Bull, and Bull. The Bull Boys.
Yeah, it sounds like Bull to me.
And on that note, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go pee,
I can. We made it this long.
Any after show? Anything, MomBrain or do anything to say? Anybody?
Can't think of anything.
Cumulative says, if I recall correctly, their Japanese names were Bublin and Boblin or something like that. So what would be the name of this third one? Boblin? Maybe it's Boblin. But no, what we heard was the truth, and what you're saying is just rumor. You guys got your Fantastic Four and Superman tickets, asked Freddie Fro. No and no, but we are going to both. I was going to talk to MomBrain very soon about getting Fantastic Four tickets because I'm definitely going to lock those in. Superman, I'm just going to get probably a couple days before, something like that. I am interested in Superman and will definitely be seeing it, but obviously I'm much more excited for Fantastic Four.
Me too.
Good Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Daddy Reed Richards, RR. So yeah, but I'll be seeing both, and I hope the new Superman ends up being great and is a great start to
Who's
the
playing Superman?
some guy. I don't know, some dork,
Mm,
some super dork. But yes, Superman happens right before our vacation, and Fantastic Four happens right after. Will this be the new Barbenheimer? Well, since they're not on the same day, I guess they cannot be. So I don't know that we'll always ever see the likes of a Barbenheimer again. We had what? Animal Crossing and Doom. That was for video game. Fantastic Foeman. That's great. Or Super 4. Sure, that works too. Rosemary the Farmer. Hello. Did you see Pedro Pascal's Vanity Fair shoot, MomBrain?
Yes. I had to look at it in a
Did
private
you shoot?
location.
That Pedro Pascal is something special. He's something special. And he's such a nice guy, too.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. That's all we're doing today. That's it. We've got nothing more to give. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Play some games. Hang out with friends and family. Rest, relax. You deserve it. And we will see you next week. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.